Right, okay, Street Talk time for the 10th to the 14th of February. Due to popular demand, we are going to be starting this segment with another little baity game because I've been looking at the news this week. I've been saying what's the best clickbaity headlines related to Coronation Street on and off screen. And I've got four titles this week for you to try and guess what these are about. I think there was too many last week, wasn't there? But it's still in its infancy, it's teething. Right, this comes firstly, Gemma, from the Leicester Mercury, okay? Coronation Street favourite set for return in inverted commas after 13 years, and Roy will be speechless. Now, this is still a spoiler-free podcast, everybody. Don't worry about this. But what does the Leicester Mercury hint in its headline? Is there going to be a return for Corrie?
Michelle Connor?
No, why would Roy be speechless at Michelle Connor coming back?
Rosie?
No.
Sophie?
No. Roy.
Hayley?
No, that would be a good one, wasn't it? No, I don't think she's been.
I don't know.
So, okay, this is a character that has been name dropped a few times in this week's episode, and had a fairly close connection to our Royston.
Oh, Becky.
Becky, that's right. Right. So because Becky got a bit of a mention this week when it was possible that Max would be going off to Belize to live with her, this Leicester Mercury is led with the headline, she's set for a return. I don't think Becky is set for a return, everybody. I'm not spoiling anything here.
I said Michelle Connor because they interviewed, didn't they?
Who did?
What's the name?
Kim Marsh?
Kim Marsh. She got interviewed for something and they went this is probably why some people avoid being in Corrie, because if you're in Corrie although I will say nobody says this to Patrick Stewart, do they?
No.
Are you going to go back in Corrie
when you're coming back? Come on.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they've had a fire the other day. They didn't even ask me.
Okay, as much as I would love for Becky to make a return, it ain't happening. Okay, this is from the Liverpool Echo, Gemma. You ready for this? Coronation Street fans rumble true identity of new character Lou in Platt DNA twist. What's it about? What's the story
They think
there?
that maybe she's Max's real mum.
No.
Is it to do with the hoodie?
No.
Oh, goodness me. Who's taking a DNA test out of Lou?
Nobody. It's just a headline.
Read the headline again.
Coronation Street fans rumble true identity of new character Lou in Platt DNA twist.
Platt? DNA?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
Identity?
Yes.
She's their sister.
Whose sister?
Nick's?
No.
David's?
No.
Sarah's?
No.
Max?
No.
Help.
Shona. According to Liverpool Echo, one person maybe put out a tweet saying that Shona and Lou, they look a little bit alike, so they're going to be sisters. That's the twist that's coming up, apparently.
They're friends, aren't they, in real life?
It feels like they're friends in real life. Yeah, the actress who plays Lou.
They look so very similar.
They are. Yeah, I mean, we're not
they're
talking.
Beautiful
we're not talking.
Great hair.
Is this going to be a return to the Nicola Thorpe, Shona, Julia Goulding, and people always missing them up? Yeah, maybe.
Here's I reckon what we should do ourselves next week, is try to make a clickbait article from our tweets.
Oh, what? We should try and put some tweets out and just try and
get them to pick it up and do an article.
You can have that as a little project.
Everyone can help us. If you read something and you think it might be our tweet, let me know, because I'm not reading all this crap.
Okay, right. Next one.
Yeah.
Leicester Mercury again. They strike again.
Leicester Mercury has got somebody on their staff who is loves Coronation Street.
Coronation Street, Dr. Gadass's new romance revealed, and it's with a couple's legend.
This is so ridiculous.
I know, it's fun.
So Dr. Gaddis is going out with somebody.
You're not going to get this.
Right,
you're not going to get this, but I'd like to hear you.
Do they remember she's gay?
Oh, you tell me.
You tell me. I've got to narrow it down to at least one gender.
Maybe a little bit. There's a few options here.
Oh, it could be lots of people.
Yeah. I actually can't remember who one of them is.
Gaddis.
I remember one of them.
Right, read it again.
Coronation Street, Dr. Gadass's new romance revealed, and it's with couple's legend.
Jenny.
No.
Kevin.
No. You get 2 more guesses.
Adam.
No.
Nick.
Ken. Somebody said out there that, wouldn't it be good if Dr. Gaddis and Ken got together?
No.
And they made an article out of it.
Leicester Mercury, what are you doing?
They did.
What's happening in Leicester?
They did talk later on in the article that there's a reminder that Gaddis does have a wife, but one of the tweet comments was like, maybe she's bisexual, and maybe she's into Ken. But yeah, there we go. Last one this week, Manchester Evening News. I don't know whether you'll get this one. Coronation Street stars take aim at Emmerdale and say, "We're coming for you in exciting move."
Is this to do with the next year?
No.
That would be too sensible.
That would be far too sensible to use that one. What could it be? They're coming for you. This all depends on whether you've seen this. This isn't something to do with... What could it be, though?
Let me say, somebody's going up north for their holiday.
No.
Somebody in Manchester has got on a train and it's going north.
Oh, what?
And they're like...
Leedswoods.
I'm going to be in the Dales. No?
Nothing to do with that, no.
Is there a netball match?
Yes.
Yes,
Have you seen about that? Yes, you're right. Well done, you get a point.
I tried to look this up yesterday. I was like, what is this netball thing people are talking about?
Yeah.
And I tried to Google netball and like some of the words that people were saying. I don't know. What is going on?
Yeah,
No, I mean it was... They mentioned some kind of thing that sounded like the league name or a team name or something. And I also, one of the names connected, I Googled them and netball, nothing came up. Right,
so Corrie and Emmerdale are doing a charity netball match later this year. They showed some pictures.
This year?
Yeah, I think so.
No, but what does that mean? Next week? Next month?
I don't know when it is. It doesn't matter for the...
It does to me because I'm interested in this.
You're going to go and shout them on, can't you? Well,
I know how to play netball.
You're not in Corrie though.
I know, but I understand the game of netball. I wouldn't be going, why are they pivoting?
Anyway, they just put a picture of rehearsal. So there we go. There's our little game for the week.
Is that what you call it when you're an actor and you're practicing? You call it rehearsal.
Yeah. I think so. I don't know.
They're like, excuse me, I know that we're due to this performance, but nobody's given me a script.
There we go. Right, okay, let's get on with this week's Corrie. I'm still trying to figure out whether this is the best place to have this game or not. It feels like it's just delaying, and if people want to know what happened on the street talk, they say shut up about the debates. Maybe we should put it in the news segment. But then our YouTube listeners that don't get the news don't get to enjoy it.
But we should also maybe put the news on.
Look.
And also,
let's talk organisation.
We should get rid of the quiz if we're doing this because it's too much of a time waster.
It's not a time waster at all. People love.
No, I love this, but the quiz is I always say the quiz is a waste of time.
No, people like both. Look, right, okay. Stories this week, okay? So we've got 7 stories lined up. Couple of new storyline titles to try on you. You haven't seen these ones yet, have you? Okay, so last week we had Max Temperature as the fire story. We're starting off with that story again, but I've given it a subtitle this week.
Yeah, go on.
Max Temperature, the heat is on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I put Max Pressure as our Street Talk Shorts first title for this month. There's plenty of opportunity. Well, he's still got
Max, I would be really hamming it up.
Yeah, exactly. Next one, we got the Kevin's.
Did you know that Max Factor was actually his real name?
I think I did know that, yeah.
Like the brand Max Factor, I thought it was just like, this lipstick is the maximum lipstick you can get. No, his name was Maximilian.
Lipstick.
Well, you know what I mean? Like the Max Factor of like your eyelashes can't get any longer with this mascara. Max Factor.
Right, Kevin's cancer storyline. Very delicate, serious storyline here. I'm calling it
to the wall.
And this has actually got a double meaning because this title works for Kevin's got testicular cancer and also Abby's having a bit of a mental breakdown.
I can't
It's
begin
called
to imagine.
Grease Monkey Nuts.
Grease Monkey Nuts.
There we go. It works for both of them, doesn't it? So there we go.
Grease Monkey Nuts.
Yeah, they're both grease monkeys. She's going nuts and he's got something wrong with his nuts.
That's so insensitive.
Hey? Right, next up.
We got a bad review once for that, remember?
No, it's fine. Then we got our Carla's kidney kerfuffle storyline, another medical storyline for the week. And then we're going to have our story with the Lou and Mick. You know that they're living in Maudsley Street
I do know that.
Around the other side of the Ginnell. Lou out back.
What does that mean? You got a Lou out like
Lou out back. Yeah, exactly. Lou out back. Not as much of a chuckle for that one. Mason's...
Would you like to have a toilet outside?
No.
Because on the one hand, okay, sometimes when you have guests over, you like, I need privacy for this. I'm going to go to the toilet away from everybody. But on the other hand, it's like everyone walking up and down the Ginnell can hear. that I'm having troubles.
Look, since we moved into this house 3 years ago, 3 years ago, was it 3 and a bit years ago?
Nearly.
This is our first time living in a house with 2 toilets. We never use the other toilet.
I do if people are over and I'm having problems.
Do you really?
I've got
That's our privacy
and
toilet.
And also, the
far away from the lounge
the
toilet.
The truly thrilling thing about our toilets is that neither of them have a lock. Do they?
They don't know. Our toilets don't have a lock. We still haven't got one. It is. It's like playing a game of Russian roulette, Russian poulet, maybe. My alternative title for this, you know that Lou and Mick's surname is... Oh, they haven't said it. They haven't pronounced it on the street. Is it Michaelis?
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to say it.
No, it's funny because Mick's name is obviously Michael, so his name is Michael Michaelis. So I thought we could call it Gemma and Michaelis because then it's a tribute to us, isn't it? It's a tribute to her. Surely, this guy is called Michael Michaelis. That is clearly a reference to me. I'll hear no other option than that.
Well, we know that Coronation Street adores us and that they really hold us high esteem.
Yeah.
And they're constantly trying to get our attention.
Yeah, they love me so much that they named a character after me twice. The only explanation. Yeah. Right, Mace in a Case.
It's like New York.
Mace in a Case. That's Mason's funeral storyline.
No.
What? Why do you always say no?
Because people enjoy it. People like it when I'm a bitch to you, don't they? They love to complain and say I'm horrible, but they laugh.
Right. Daisy's blooming. Bethany's blooming well off. And Sassy Cassie, Steve's new lassie. I think that was a storyline title that we used back when they were getting together last year, and I've revisited it because they're back on the train.
You spelled sassy wrong.
I haven't I? Thank you for yet another criticism. Right, I am going to.
I bought you Lego.
You have bought me Lego. It's Valentine's Day, everybody.
I bought you Lego.
Going together after however many years.
But I did also buy potatoes with my money, which is my money. I shouldn't have to buy potatoes.
Right, I am going to put you in charge of recounting the max temperature the heat is on story. What's been going on with old Platts?
Are you interested in this?
I'm finding myself less interested than I thought I might be.
I'm not bothered about this at all. I genuinely, my main focus in this story is what are they going to do with his house? That's all I care about.
And they've shown very little of the house. They're like avoiding showing it for some reason. Like the outside, I mean. Because
I'll tell you what the problem with it is, and maybe you'll agree that maybe this is one of the reasons you're not as fussed on it as perhaps we should be. It's because it's to do with gangsters.
I think you're right. That's the problem.
Money.
Well, that's one of the problem. The fact that it's a gangster tangential storyline, which have never been that much up my street. But also, I'm thinking, Max, you pillock. Yeah, you bloody pillock, Max. Why would you do this? And so a lot of the drama that's come out of this week is Max being a bit of a
pillock.
Yeah, exactly.
And also...
And David, a bit of a pillock. Yeah, I'll rob an ATM. Why not? So it's characters... Are they acting out of character? I don't know, but I'm just saying you brought all this on yourself a little bit, and that's slightly ruining my enjoyment of it, as much as I love every single character in this story.
To add insult to injury, today, or was it yesterday, or, Wednesday, I think it was today, Nick's like, well, I'll just give you the money.
Yes.
Okay, Nick, thanks for that, buddy.
Would have come in handy a little bit earlier, wouldn't it?
Cheers, pal. How have you got money too when you just bought...
Yeah, just bought the Leanne's share of the bistro. He's just added a little money tree storyline.
It's just Weatherfield's money tree. It's just honestly...
Maybe, I don't think that... Toya has said how she's spending her Les inheritance yet. Maybe she's going to wake up one day and realise that Nick's robbed her of it. So there you go, David. Pass this to Harvey. I don't know, but
honestly, that is just that just added to my complete disinterest. Well, I'm not completely disinterested because I like these characters. I'm not either, This is the trouble. I like these characters, but I hate plots like this. I just hate boring. I
think if this was a story with characters that I didn't feel such great fondness for, I would be
completely
more down on
cold on it.
Yeah.
And also what is. I can't say another reason why I don't like it, but sometimes it feels like a bit of a foregone conclusion is all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Right, so on Monday you got Shona and Lawrence with Max.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh God.
Walking down through the desert to Weatherfield. Go on.
She's about as dramatic, isn't she? With less reason to be. Can you imagine? Can you imagine sitting through like an epic long movie about Lauren's life so far?
It'd be a tragedy, wouldn't it? It'd be a weepy.
They couldn't put an intermission in the middle because everyone would just bugger off and not come back.
Did anybody else at home notice? Lauren made a joke today.
Yes.
She made a joke. I forgot what it was.
She made a joke and then, like, 3 seconds later, burst into tears.
Was it I can't remember. I literally can't remember what it was now. We might remember when we get there. When she was with Max in the Builders Yard, wasn't it?
Friday was Lauren crying and Bobby being an annoying arse, which was it felt like the old times again, didn't it? Right.
Oh gosh, I wish I could remember. I shouldn't have brought it up. It depends whether I've written down what it was. Right, go. Yeah, so there with Max on Monday. He hasn't confessed yet. It wasn't even a funny joke,
probably. So he's still in hospital, and Dave is still with the police. And so finally Max comes out of his coma and he's like, David? Leanne is also being interviewed because everyone thinks she did it. And she's like, look, I do remember throwing a bottle of vodka. I do remember finding matches in my pocket. I don't recall what I was doing at the time, but I'm fairly sure it wasn't me. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. You just have to trust me on this. Start the fire, yeah.
And, you know, the matches were for my son, which, I don't know, is there some kind of, like, strange Weatherfield tradition of pouring vodka on someone's headstone and setting it on fire? It's like a flambe.
There should be.
Well, why don't we start it? And she's like, yeah, I did threaten Toya, and she did end up nearly dying, but it wasn't me, I promise.
Gotta believe me.
I know all this evidence seems very damning. Right, so Nick is getting an ear bending from Shona about shopping his brother in. And then Nick says, "What? Now you've finished, can I tell you that Kevin has got CCTV footage of somebody taking this petrol can from the garage?" So she rushes off to check it. So she goes around the house.
I was just going to say something else, and I don't really want to pull this storyline apart anymore because there are, as I say, definitely a lot of elements that I'm enjoying into it. But what I'm not liking is there's characters that are getting really angry at each other and saying, "Oh, you idiot, I'm not going to talk to you. I haven't got time for you," and having it's escalating into kind of rants at each other. And then the next episode, it's like, "Sorry about yesterday. I just needed it for the drama at the end of the episode. You know how it is.
I just needed my Ricky Lake moment."
Yeah. Yeah, so this is what Nick was like, wasn't he? He's like, at this point, you know, happy for David to be, you know, cast adrift, but by the end of the week he's offering him however much money he needs for Harvey. So
goodness me.
Yeah.
Right. So she in the house, in Abby and Kevin's house, she looks at this CCTV footage and she's like, "Oh," and she goes, "Hang on a minute, let me look at it again." And then she looks like she's seen a ghost, and then they say, "What's that? What have you seen?" And she's like, "Oh, nothing. Oh, probably was the person who done it, wasn't it? See you later."
Well, that was the confirmation for us, wasn't it? Because we went into this episode thinking it's Max, isn't it? We talked about it on the podcast last week that seemed to be the prevailing theory among fans, and we'd certainly bought into it as well. So it was at this moment we're like, okay, this is where they're going.
But can I just say, I know that some people don't like it when you guess, or they feel like Coronation Street should be more shocking or twisty. But it is good when you can guess because it shows that they've put the story together in a logical manner where things make sense and not just like, it's the person you least expect. It's not an Agatha Christie novel, it is a soap.
I mean, when they have unexpected twists that
I love that
you could have seen coming, but literally nobody did because the breadcrumbs were so subtle. Those are the very best.
But when people are like, "Oh well, I guess," it's like, yeah, because it's fictional and they put they constructed the story in such a way that of course you guess because. The
thing with this as well, remember, we kind of agreed last week, well, it clearly wasn't Logan after what happened. Clearly wasn't Andy. Clearly wasn't Leanne. Clearly wasn't Abby. I mean, there's only so few.
Although
they're the main suspects, so then Max is next down on the tier list.
One of my favourite twists is when you think it's somebody and you're like, well, it can't be them because it's clearly too obvious, and then it turns out to be them. that is quite fun. I do enjoy that. But right, so it was Max because Max is stupid. We know this. He's got very poor decision making skills, as has been demonstrated by everything he's done.
Let's get to the confession bit, and then I'd like to hear your thoughts about the facts that Max has turned twisted fire starter, as Leanne put it in today's episode.
So anyway, Shona's like, it was definitely Leanne. See you later. Max is in the hospital speaking to Lauren, who loves being in the hospital, crying over her bed. It's nothing she wants to do more. And he's like, why isn't David here? What's going on? What are you keeping from me? Then we cut to David in the police interview room with Adam as his brief, and he's reminding Kit that he's not got any evidence. He can't detain him anymore. And then we get the flashback where we get to see that the arsonist was Max.
Yes, we back to last week. Yeah,
in the garage, getting the jerry can, putting the rag through the letterbox.
Funny little weird fisheye lens kind of effects was it on this or something? I don't know the names of all the effects, but they didn't. That's how we knew it was a flashback.
It's so irresponsible to do this without googling it first.
What?
Google, should I arson my house? Oh, yeah. Like, what's the best way?
Sorry, I was just thinking about these effects. And am I right in saying that today's episode didn't have any funny, weird visual effects?
It's the
first time in a little while
without any effects.
Wasn't it so refreshing to have? What?
Was there not a picture that Abby saw that turned into... No. Was that Wednesday?
No, I was going to say it was really refreshing that we didn't have anything like that from Abby today. Yeah. Abby was having a perfectly normal, lovely, non-flashbacky, healthy mental... Kiev's. Yeah, but Valentine's Day, it was cracking. But they had to go down that route for the flashback just so that we knew. They might as well have just had like flashback, flashing on the screen. I think that's going to be the next stage in this. You know, sometimes when you watch Japanese game shows on TV and half the screen is just covered in text. It's just going to be like that to tell us this is a dream.
I'll tell you what we also need, and we'll be happy to do this, and I don't mind doing this if you're going to pay me. In Japanese TV shows, they also seem to have in the corner always someone reacting to what's happening. We could do that. If you guys want us to, ITV, we're quite reasonable. And we could be in the corner going,
If you want to see that, you can just watch like the signed version of the programme, can't you? Because some of those,
they do.
Some of those signed, emote. Yeah, they really do emote. Yeah.
Right. Well.
Anyway, about that, it's Max. So we know it's Max. So
he's remembering in a flashback.
What are you thinking about the fact that it's Max?
Makes sense. He's an idiot.
He's not that much of an idiot, though.
He is an idiot. He became a white supremacist.
It's not the same kind of idiocy.
It is. It's like a bad idea. If there's a bad idea Max hasn't heard of, he's going to go for it. You know, he just Googles what's a bad idea, and then whatever comes up first, he does it. He's an idiot.
He did it because David had been saying before the fire week, maybe it would be handy if the house caught on fire and we could claim for the insurance. But he's just such a dumb thing to do, especially as he's just been fighting to get Lauren out of prison. They've just been planning this wonderful new life together that he and his girlfriends and the new kind of semi-adopted son are going to have together. This was such a massive risk. I don't believe he'd be stupid enough to do it.
Well, he didn't think he'd get caught, did he? I mean, it seems like a fairly low risk bad idea because they were being pursued by a criminal. They could pin it on.
Yeah. Oh well.
It's just look.
I'm very sad that it was Max.
If he had done it slightly differently, he would have definitely got away with it. Like, the most simple thing to have done would have been to have relit a candle and put it next to a curtain and just left it.
Well,
because then nobody would have known it was him.
Okay, fine.
Do you not think that it was literally just the hoodie?
What?
That it got him in trouble?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I guess they were.
Because.
Yeah, they wouldn't have found it.
He didn't have to hide that it was arson because he was trying to pin it on somebody else. He was trying to frame Harvey's goons.
Well, we know that these far right lot have been setting fires right back from the days of the Reichstag, so I suppose Max was just following in their footsteps, wasn't he? Yeah. I think maybe the thing that Max has did that was utterly ridiculous is dumping the hoodie in the dumpster.
When you just set it on fire, you've just made a fire. Why don't you put it in the fire? There's fire everywhere.
He couldn't post it through the letterbox. It wasn't big enough. Yeah,
he literally could have run around with that hoodie on during the fire and then took it off. Go, a bit hot. I'm just going to take this hoodie off. Put it in the fire.
At least,
I've made more fire.
At least Corey had the good sense to run away and chuck it in a bag into the canal. Max is like, 10-second walk away from the front door. Yeah, that's far enough.
Yeah, this is
the Weatherfield police
evidence.
are pretty useless, aren't they?
I also cannot believe they DNA tested it. I can't believe any police force cares about anything that happens.
I think that anything that gets thrown into that particular bin is probably just contaminated with the DNA of all the other Coronation Street villains that have chucked things in there over the years. It's probably still
DNA
a bit of Steve.
Leo. He did it.
Stephen Reed set fire to the house, to the Platt's house. I don't know, Mason as well. Literally, Max, that was a really dumb move.
He's a dum-dum.
Oh, I just maybe my love of Max is clouding my.
I do like Max, but look, you have to admit he makes so many bad decisions, and it's not like normal bad decisions. Like, should I have a donut before I go to bed, or
should I toast my ex-partner's passport just for the lols?
Always super criminal, isn't it? It's like, should I join a white supremacist group? Should I make racist propaganda? Should I go and help my girlfriend murder a man and chuck him over a bridge? Why
well.
Not? What could go wrong?
You reap what you sow, Max, and I don't think you're getting out of this one.
He's done so many naughty things. He's a very naughty boy.
He has. He needs. Tell you what, he needs. He needs a good push down the stairs again, doesn't he? Get Daniel on the case. I'm surprised Daniel. He's probably going to have a field day with this news.
He'd love it.
Although he's too old now to be going to the school that Daniel, or the school whatever it's called, that Daniel teaches in. I think, isn't he?
Well, he's never too old to learn.
No.
Anyway, right. So Shona goes and confronts Max in the hospital, and she's like, "Oh, for goodness sake, I've seen the CCTV that Kevin's got, and you're wearing the goddamn hoodie I bought you at Christmas. Why? I also like the way that she's mad at him, not for the crime itself, but for making it so obvious it was him.
I'd be mad that the fact that this hoodie that he's only had less than 2 months at this point.
She's like, you told me you liked it. Why'd you throw it away for?
Also, I am actually going to put a little bit of this on Shona. Don't get your kind of stepson or whatever he is to, I don't know. Don't get him a black top with like skulls and things on the background if you're trying to change people's idea about his... Get
him some nice pastels.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's reformed. No, he's got skulls and snakes. Skulls.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying that if you're into skulls and snakes as your fashion motif of choice
that you're
criminal. Necessarily a criminal or somebody with extremist views, but
it doesn't
help, does it? If you're Max, no,
help with rehabilitation.
No,
it's not what you'd wear if you were trying to, like, I don't know, get elected, is it?
No.
Okay, so Max is like, look, don't worry about it. I did it. The insurance is gonna get us out of this hole. Harvey and the Radcliffe's gonna be out of our lives. And she's like, no, you idiot! I can't believe what you're doing. And then David walks in and finds out as well, and he's like, okay, right, we've got to cover this crime up. I'm going to go and get the hoodie out of the wheelie bin.
Platts love a good crime cover up, don't they? They are,
They're the most conspiratorial of all the families.
Somebody does something wrong, at least you can say that about the Platts. They generally do kind of band together to say, we've got to keep the good name of the Platts out of the gutter.
Nick's like, I'm a Tilsley, I don't care. I'm going to shop you in.
There's barely any Platts left in the Platt, to be fair, are there?
I know.
Yeah. Still, Gail doesn't know any of this. She's going to be getting a very, very interesting round robin next Christmas, isn't she?
She's not even going to read it.
Right, come on then. What we got? What we got next?
He starts fishing inside the bin, does David, when Daisy comes over, and he's like, "Oh, I was just throwing things away," and she says, "Look, come to the pub because we've got a load of donations for you guys." So.
Oh, I don't know whether we mentioned this on the show last week, but I saw someone online theorising that particular hoodie would end up in the donation.
That's what I thought was going to happen. I really was absolutely certain.
To be honest, I don't know what's the dumber idea, that or putting it in the bin outside your house,
pretty
idea.
Much. Right, so she goes with him.
That was just a way of getting
him away
so that the police could handily come and collect it up.
Don't spoil it. It's secret.
People have seen it.
Right, so the hoodie is still in the bin. And then Nick meets David and Shona, and he's calmed down a little bit, and maybe he's started to accept that it was possibly Leanne after all. And he's trying to apologise for dropping David in it, and David is not interested in any of this. Meanwhile, they're still interviewing Leanne, and then Kit's like, we've got some special information.
Newsflash.
DC Green or whatever, DS or whatever. I don't know what they all mean.
C, he's a C.
What does that mean?
Constable.
What does S mean?
Sergeant.
I don't know. It could be supervisor.
No.
Or superintendent.
How many years did I force you to watch the Bill, Gemma?
I never understood it. I never understood any of it. I just knew that there were men and ladies in uniforms, and some of them got to wear their normal clothes, like they were, maybe it was a charity day or something, and they could pay £5 to wear their jeans.
Right, come on, next, what we got?
So, Kit gets called out for some dramatic news.
Yes.
And then David goes back to the hospital, and he said, I tried to get the stuff out of the bin, and it's gone. Somebody must have picked it up, so I guess that's fine.
Well, they're hoping it's gone to the dump, haven't they? And then
Did he not look in and go, there's still other rubbish in here? The bin man must have just been like, score.
Yeah.
I always, if I'm a bin man, I always go round just an hour before my round just to check to see if there's anything good in the bins.
Do you think the police then had to empty the whole bin just in case there was more evidence in there, and then they were disappointed it was just a hoodie at the end of the day, which happened to be sitting on top?
We can't never know.
No.
Anyway, it wasn't the bin man, it was the police
the local
station.
refuse collectors, no.
And they say we're gonna put it through forensics.
Yeah, there was another police officer with a spoken line, wasn't there? Wow. Lovely red-headed police lady like saying to Kit, "Here you go. Here's a hoodie in a bag." I found this.
Yeah. Do I get any kind of recognition? Do I get a promotion? No.
Okay, Wednesday rolls round.
Max is just doom scrolling about the fire on his phone. Leanne's still in the interview room. Nick bumps into David at the bus stop, and he's still annoyed at him. And then Craig comes in there. It's so funny because you said,
I know.
Craig is such a blabbermouth. He's going to tell everybody everything.
And then literally 10 seconds later, it was like, because they say, like, come on, Craig, come on, tell us what's going on. What's happening with Leanne?
I can't tell you. Come here.
Okay, you broke me.
Come, I've got to whisper it. We found some evidence.
It's a joke now. It's such a joke, and I think
it's great. I think it's hilarious.
I think it's gone beyond. Oh, come on! You'd be disappointed if he didn't give away some majorly important and top secret information.
I'm a hypocrite because I don't care about any of this police stuff. Like, I know, like, none of these officers should be involved in anything to do with where they live. Even though back in the old days you would have been.
Yeah, we had our little village police officer, PC Lord.
Did you?
Used to do the beat down through Binley Woods, yeah.
What kind of crimes were going on in the village?
Not much, to be fair. I think he had a pretty
easy life.
Yeah,
it's been good to be him. Yeah. Anyway, so I know that Craig wouldn't tell them about an investigation and stuff, and that doesn't bother me at all. But all the medical stuff does. Really, it kind of annoys me, and I think it is more. Is it more serious to misinform people about medical things than it is police? Because they're both quite serious things, but I somehow don't care because I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Well, we also this week had Swain.
But I do acknowledge that is silly of me.
This week we got Swain conspiring to release a murderer onto the streets. And we must maybe save it until we get there, but come on.
Hang on, let's not go too far.
She's been a main character for less than a year, and already she's gone down the bent side. I mean, literally. Come on.
Right,
come on. She's this force for good, Swain. Don't... just for the love of Carla.
Talk about it when we get to it, for goodness sake.
Okay.
Right, they're waiting for forensics. So, they're waiting for forensic on this new evidence, because you've been... Right, talking. Shona and Lauren are with Max, and he's getting ready to get discharged.
From the hospital.
And then David's like, oh, the police know about this. We have to go. We have to leave.
Yes.
And then he gets a message, and it's Andy from the pub.
Not from the pub.
In the pub.
In the pub.
And he says, you dropped me in it, not giving me an alibi. And Andy's like, I'm not in the habit of giving people alibis. I'm a criminal.
Well, he kind of said the very sensible thing of, I wasn't exactly going to say what we were doing, was I?
Donkey. What were we saying? We're doing a chess tournament. Right, so
me against Sam.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bother, would you?
And I beat him, actually. This is when the lies start to unravel, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, what was the winning move? It's called a checkmate.
Right, come on.
Is that what you call it? Anyway, so he gives David £2,000, which I thought was supposed to be a drop in the ocean. This is what annoyed me about the Platts. They spend all weeks and weeks going, oh, there's no point in that. It's a drop in the ocean. Oh, don't sell your stuff. It's a drop in the ocean. And then... Of course it is, but that's just why you do addition, don't you? And it adds up eventually.
Many drops eventually make an ocean.
Can you imagine David saying to the bank, what's the point of paying my mortgage this month? It's a drop in the ocean. Anyway, so David says, you got any other gigs I could do? Got any other things, like criminal things?
Criminal activities
and Andy's like,
enterprises, maybe?
I do. It's another side quest if you'd like to accept it. You get 10,000 XP, but it's more risky, so your HP might go down.
It's like GTA, isn't it?
It is a bit like that, yeah.
Yeah, while we all wait for GTA 6, there's a...
You might as well just watch Coronation Street, because it is basically a crime drama.
Yeah. David, come on.
Right, so...
Although, actually, you know, David has been up to his neck in so many dodgy, criminal...
Yes, he's always doing scams.
And he's got away... Well, yeah. No, he has gone to prison a few times, actually, hasn't he, to be fair? How many times has he been behind bars? 3 at this point, possibly?
Or only the stuff they know about?
Probably all of it. But, yeah, I would have thought that David... You know, he's also got a family to look after. Massive risk here. He's got a criminal record as long as your arm. Why take the risk? Is it just because? Is it because, you know, he's been blinded by protective urges because his family is in imminent danger of being picked off by Harvey? I don't know, but
it doesn't matter. He's doing
if you know your brother's got a load of wonga sitting in the bank, have you thought to ask him, David? He probably felt so stupid when Nick said, do you want my money?
Why doesn't... Yeah, did she want some of the Platt family fortune?
And he's like, why you never asked, David?
Oh, for God's sake. Also,
no, I can't remember.
Why didn't he just go back to the traditional Platt way of doing things, which is just to steal it off Nick?
Tap it off Audrey. No, I think I can't remember. Maybe Nick was actually saying, "I'll help you get loans and stuff."
He said he didn't. He wasn't going to give it to him. He said something about credit cards and stuff.
Yeah, it felt a bit of a. We don't need to worry about this anymore.
It did feel a bit like the writers going, "Look, we don't. This is boring.
This is about Max. This is about Max now. It's not about Harvey."
They all went home for their tea.
Yeah.
Right. So David goes to Sarah's.
Sure, there's a grand plan.
David goes to Sarah's flat and he's got a free wreath, which they seem mad about, but I'd say is a score.
Why?
Because it's a free wreath.
What, an R.I.P. David wreath?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Save it for when the dog kicks the bucket.
Oh, we don't even know how David's doing, do we?
And we haven't seen David the dog for weeks now, no. Since he was lured away by Hope's chicken.
You can't go out, you can't leave until they pay their ransom for all the treatment I gave you. So he shows Shona the money and tells her he's going to do another job. And then Nick says Leanne's going to get in trouble. She might end up for 5 or 7 years, but if she did do it, then I hope she goes down for it.
Yeah, Nick's still in the dark at the moment, doesn't he? Because David revealing to Shona the cash was a little secret kitchen move, and Nick's like, anyway, it probably is Leanne for sure.
And Max looks guilty.
Yes.
Meanwhile, at the station, Craig brings Kit the report on the hoodie. And Kit reads it and he's like, oh my God.
You're gonna be kidding me. I can't believe it's them.
I assume that Max had his DNA and his fingerprints taken when he was banged up.
Yes. Yeah, he's on the record.
Bloody good job, really, wasn't it? Because if it was someone else, mind you, everyone on Coronation must have their DNA in the system somewhere, because they're all a bunch of criminals. Who hasn't done a crime on Coronation Street? Even Yasmin's been been on trial. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to know. Like that's a good thing to try and find out. Who on Coronation Street does not have their fingerprints registered in the Weatherfield police station?
As Ken, I don't think Ken has. No, because he did that breaking in.
Yeah. Well, he's got. Oh, Ken got sent down years ago, didn't he, for taking part in an anti-Vietnam War protest? Do you remember? He had a night in prison or a week, or I can't remember. And Val was mega narked that he stood up for his principles and didn't have
fingerprints then.
What?
That's a joke. Okay, so Shona and David are trying to reassure Max that it's like they don't worry about Leanne. She's not going to get in trouble. And then he thinks he's going to get convicted and he's going to go away for a really long time. And then Leanne gets released because of this information that they've just got that it was Max, but they don't know that yet. Toya happens to be there and she's like, oh Leanne, I'm so happy. I missed you. I want my sister back. And Leanne's like, nah.
I kind of thought and I semi-hoped that this would be the eventual and inevitable Leanne and Toya reunion at this point, because we all know it's coming and I desperately want them to be on the same side again, but Leanne's not having any of it.
So yeah, when they get back to the flat,
of the year, Leanne's like, they'll be mates again.
It's over between us. I'll never be your friend again. I don't want to fight anymore, but I can't.
Yeah, they go to the street, don't they? And she has a bit of a cry as she goes off because she wants her mate. She wants her sis back again. So this is why we need Eva to come back and bang their heads together, don't we? Come on.
Right, so Kit and Craig go around the flat to find Max, and David says, oh, he's asleep. And then he looks in the door and he's done a runner. So they're trying to find out where he is. Craig puts a call out, suspects on the loose. And then this is when Kit tells David and Shona that they think that Max started the fire. So where does he go?
Builder's yard.
Round the corner. And he hides
This place has already been on fire. It's safe from me.
Yeah. So
lightning doesn't strike twice.
I can't remember what's going on with this builder's yard anymore.
I can't remember whether they've said they've sold it to anyone else. I'm assuming not.
Because at the moment, what's going on with Ronnie and
Ed aren't really doing much at the moment.
I thought they were having a super duper building company and they were redeveloping stuff. Did that not happen?
I don't know. I think the insider trading maybe put an end to that.
Oh yeah, and then Ed was like, "Oh, sell my builder's yard for my debts," and he hasn't sold it. But he's working as a handyman.
Yeah, he's working at the Chariot Square.
For clearly far less money, but not selling the builder's yard to anybody.
Gary was going to buy it at one point, but then Max pulled out.
Hang out.
So it's derelict.
Yeah. Tell you what, rent that room out to Max.
Yeah.
£20 a week.
It was nice to see inside it again, I thought. Yeah, that's his new hiding spot for a while.
But
if I was him, I would probably go in that little bit on the right rather than the left. Do you remember when Phelan was tied up on his final week?
Vast.
They had space. Exactly. That never has been seen before or since. But probably it was a bit warmer as well. But no, he decides to go.
They probably demolished it to put the staircase in.
Or he could go upstairs.
Just go and sit, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can look out a window.
Up there. Yeah.
I love looking out windows. It's one of my favourite things to do.
What happens next?
You can see all kinds. So, right. Nick comes around the flat and says, "Oh, the charges against Leanne have been dropped." And then this is when Jona's like, "Look, just let you know, it was Max." And David's like, "Don't tell him." And then he says, "You must be thrilled. The heat's off Leanne, and now Max is going to prison." And Nick's like, "No, I'm not happy at all. I'm always miserable." And then he leaves. And then David gets another suspicious text.
Who's that? Is that Andy? I can't remember. We'll find out in a minute, probably.
Kit's with Lauren in the cafe, and he's trying to find out where Max is. And I thought this was quite sweet because he was playing with, what's the baby called?
What baby?
Frankie.
Oh yeah, Frankie.
He's playing with.
Don't tell Lauren you've forgotten the baby's name. You'll make her cry.
I came up with that name.
I know you did. I know you did.
Right, so he's there, and it was quite sweet because he's obviously still, got it in his head that he's going to be a dad. So I thought that was very sweet. And then Shona's like, "Oh, I need to take this sandwich to David. Is it all right?" And then she runs off and she goes and she takes it to Max.
In the builder's yard.
And then Lauren follows her and like, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you going on the run or something? I thought we were supposed to be having a new life together. Running away is not the answer." And he says, "I can't go to prison." And she's like, Shona goes home and she and David talk about what their plans are to get Max out of the country. And they decided to ask Becky, who's with a bloke in Belize. Is this not the same guy she went to the Caribbean with? Is
I
this
don't
a different
know.
Guy?
I think she's given him his marching orders.
Oh, that's sad because I just like to imagine her living on a farm. But
they went to Barbados, didn't they? That was where Becky was.
That's not the same place as Belize. They both begin with a B, and they're not here.
Yeah,
but they're different countries.
Yeah. So yeah, she's going to harbour him, is she? Yeah. So Becky is Max's aunt, I'm gonna say. Because Max is Kylie's
He's actually
son.
blood related.
Yeah.
Is that a problem then?
I just thought this runaway to live in Belize problem has got disaster written all over it.
No one can run away. Has anyone ever done this?
What, in real life or in
real life?
Run away and started a new life
Has
on the other side of the world.
ever done this?
I
just don't think
I'm going to say probably. But
how are you going to get out of the country?
Yeah, not as easy as you think. Max was saying today, "Oh, just going to get on a ferry," but
what do you mean? Get on? There's no ferry to Belize from. Where are you going to go? I think there's one on Fridays from Liverpool.
I think they probably had a little bit more of a plan that we maybe just weren't paying attention to.
Maybe it's like how you're not allowed to show how to start a car. You're not allowed to do that on TV because then people know. Maybe they're like, we had a really foolproof 15-step plan for how to escape from Manchester to Belize, and that we went through wrote the whole script. We actually did it 3 times with convicted criminals who were on the run.
Just wouldn't let us
do
it.
And they just said no. ITV said we're going to get sued, so we had to cut it out.
I would hate the idea of.
What?
But is it worse than going to prison? Like living in a foreign country where you don't know anybody apart from your auntie, starting a new life.
See you later.
Would you?
Yeah, bye.
I mean, I know prison's pretty rotten, so I've heard. But Max seemed relatively chill about it.
Trouble is, I don't think we could get away with it because everyone would be like, you know that podcast in Belize that is about Coronation Street?
Yeah, we'd still be carrying it on.
Got the same
couldn't
voices.
help ourselves. Would we have to get new names to as a little?
What's your name? What's it called?
What, my Belizean name?
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know. I quite like Michael, to be honest.
You can't. All right, we'll both keep our names because then people will be like, "Well, it's too obvious. It can't be them."
We could be Jim and Michelle, and then we just kind of swapping over, aren't we?
Yeah, I'll be Michelle, and you can be Jim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway,
what are we doing?
Max is going to Belize.
Hang on, what crime are we going to commit?
No, we're not going to say it on air, are we?
Yeah,
we'll have to plan it once we've stopped recording.
Sorry. God,
he was bad.
We're not going to get away with this, are we?
With his terrible planning.
Going to Belize is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Do they show Corrie in Belize, or do we have to download it illegally? That's the problem.
I can't commit
What's the
more
internet
crimes,
speed
Michael.
like?
Once
What's the
we
bandwidth?
move to Belize, that's it. Clean slate. I'm going to do everything by the book. Anyway, they're going to send him to Belize with Becky, and he's going to give Harvey another 10 grand because I got a job lined up for Andy, so everything's going to be fine.
No, with Andy.
What did I say?
You said for Andy.
Well, it's the same thing.
I suppose it is the same thing, isn't
right,
it?
so everything's fine. On Friday, Lauren comes to visit Max, and she tells a joke.
Can I ask you, did you think that Max would end up getting caught?
Right.
And then he'd disappear, or did you think that Max would end up having his happy ever after on the other side of the world?
No, I thought he was going to get caught no matter what.
I think they managed to trick me because I was actually thinking, okay, that's where they're going with it, and having Max on the run.
I won't say
it just makes me.
It
makes me sad. It makes me sad to think that he's going to be there behind. But I don't know. He deserves it. He's been a bit of an arsonist, hasn't he? But I don't like it because he's going to be sent to prison with who else is in there that's banged up that's going to be out for his blood. I suppose Harvey's in that prison, isn't he? And Damon. Although
anyone
also
who isn't white.
So is Reese, I suppose.
People who hate racism.
Yeah. So maybe Reese is going to have him under his wing. In the prison
true.
wing.
Yeah, he's got loads of. When you're a white supremacist, loads of buddies.
When you're a Corrie character and you get sent to prison, there's a surprising number of familiar faces that might pop up when you're in the dining hall or when you're chopping up your rocks or whatever you do
Rob?
there. Yeah, Rob can look after him. It is the Corrie wing.
How many
probably,
cast members are in prison now? This is the funny thing. I know we say there's too many police scenes, but there are also too many prison scenes. And the prison scenes started before the police scenes.
Yeah. I suppose it's easier to send Max to prison because although they did a stellar job of making us believe there were some scenes filmed in Turkey last year, it's probably going to be easier to convince us that Max is in prison than actually in Belize.
He's hiding in a hotel in Belize that looks surprisingly like a Turkish hospital. Weird.
With shades of Chariot Square.
This is a Chariot Square hotel.
This is what the volume wall's for, isn't it? Make us believe that he's in Belize. You don't even need to bring back Catherine Kelly because they can stick her on the volume wall as well.
Yeah, Paddy Beaver doing a fake walk. La la la.
Or to be fair,
what's just in Belize? Project. What is it? What is it? Is it got? What kind of landscape?
I'm imagining tropical.
I know. I was literally jungle, but I thought that might be.
We've got far enough into the podcast for me to admit I have got absolutely no idea where Belize is. Central America, is that okay?
It's lovely.
Well, look, Paddy has been on his holidays recently. If you've been following him on his Instagram, so they could just
beaches.
Use a few snaps from that, or got him to film some while he was over there. I don't know.
Lots of resorts.
Oh, it does sound good. It's almost worth setting fire to a house for, maybe. Anyway, look, what else has gone on? Let's get back to this. We're being silly today.
We're being very stupid.
Yes.
Right, so she tells a joke. We can't recall it, which is sad because it's quite momentous, actually.
I can't remember. I'm sad that we didn't write down what his joke is.
I think it was just a silly comment. So she says, "Oh, sorry, I went off on one, but I needed
it's gone.
to be dramatic.
You have to write and tell us.
We love each other." She cries. He says, "I'm going to get a ferry to Belize," and she's like, "That sounds sensible.
Nothing could go wrong."
Shona and
was she also planning to go out to Belize with him? Was they going to have a little?
I don't care. David and Shona are in Sarah's flat when Nick comes round, and they're like, "Where's Max?" And David says, "Yeah, you're up to something."
Nick's still being kept in the dark.
David's up to something.
Nick's being kept in the dark about a variety of things for temporarily this week, isn't he? And then
yeah.
just so that the reveal can happen later.
No, this is Nick having a suspicion, which is why he finds David later. So David meets up with Andy and the Ginnell to hear about the plan. Robin at ATM and
at a supermarket. I think the twist there should have been that Lou and Mick should have overheard them, because you got to watch out for people hearing you from the Coronation Street side when you're having these illicit Ginnell whisperings. But you never expect what Maudsley Street are going to say, are they?
No.
Yeah. Although I don't know whether, I think Mick and Lou maybe haven't moved in yet.
No.
I think Gemma said, so it's coming soon.
So Shona goes to visit Max, and they have this moment, and she realises later that it was him saying goodbye. But she doesn't realise it at the time.
Yeah, and she kind of puts her foot in it. Again, she doesn't realise until later by saying, look, you got options here, Max. Is this what you need to do? I thought that was a really quite sweet scene, actually. The line where Max says, oh, I know my mum's dead already, but I never felt like an orphan with you. I thought that was quite lovely. You're not an orphan when your dad's alive. His dad's not alive.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Exactly. So I thought that was a lovely little scene.
I never felt like an orphan because I've been raised by a family my whole life.
Yes.
That's nice.
Exactly.
David's in the car, in the precinct, on the phone to Andy when Nick comes, grabs him, pulls him out, says, you're an idiot.
I couldn't. Why did Nick know that he was there?
Because he heard about the plan. This is what I said earlier. The breadcrumbs were laid when Nick is suspicious that David goes somewhere.
But I didn't know how he knew that he was at the precinct. Or is it just a case of, while he's not on the street, he could be anywhere in Weatherfield, probably the precinct. Was it that? That's the problem with having the precinct,
sometimes, right, you build a brick wall and there's holes in it.
I'm always doing that, yeah.
Right, and people say, that's stupid. That brick wall is full of holes. Then a big hurricane comes through, and your brick wall is still standing because those holes were actually for the wind.
The wind's gone through the holes.
This is what this plot is.
Okay.
There are holes in it so it doesn't get blown down by a hurricane.
Oh, perfect. That makes all the sense in the world now.
Thank you.
Right.
So, Nick tells him off and says, look, I'll just give you the money.
Yeah,
all right.
Something along those lines. Anyway, I'll help you get it.
And then Max escapes out of the
builder's yard,
very successful hiding place, and David goes home. Shona's like, sorry, I told Nick about the rob job, and then David says, oh, it's all fine, we get money now. I've got bigger things to worry about now because that money thing's solved. But now, where's Max gone? And Shona says, oh no.
Yeah, he's tried to ring him, hasn't he?
I think I know where he is. He's at the police station. He's turned himself in. Why has he done this? I can't understand. I had this foolproof plan, 15 steps. Weatherfield to police. Simple.
Do you think that this was the right thing for Max to do at this stage?
I mean, for a start,
or should he have gone through with the plan?
Do you not think that it's illogical in the first place to have like this elaborate plan to escape to police when you literally don't have money for a vet bill and you're robbing banks? Where are you getting the money to go to police? I know that you're going on a ferry.
Away, don't you?
What kind of ferry are you going on? Oh my god, it's so stupid.
It doesn't matter. You can just like cling on to the edge of I think that would I have at this stage recommended to Max that he turn himself in?
Just go, look, Max, your future's bleak as it is. Just turn yourself in and do your time. It's free meals. We actually can't afford to keep you anymore.
And at this stage, if you do turn yourself in, how much difference is that going to make when it comes to sentencing?
A little bit.
A little bit. Not a whole lot.
It's not like don't do it in the first place.
We've also, I just remember 2 other people that we've got in prison at the moment that he's going to be pals with. Oh, the Warners, isn't he?
Who?
Logan and Matty are in prison.
Oh, God.
It's going to be like a little family reunion.
They've got so many people in prison that they could just do a spin-off show and have... It used to be that there would be maybe a couple. And sometimes it would even be a new character.
Well, but when people went into prison, you generally didn't see them. Well, that's the difference back in the old days of Coronation Street. Yeah.
Good.
But anyway, he's going to have a... Yeah.
Where are we? Okay, so Max, I can't believe it. He's in the interview room with Kit, and he's like, "Here's a CCTV footage of you with your hoodie that your stepmom got you for Christmas." And he's like, yeah, it was me. Sorry. I thought there was, I didn't set it on fire because Toya was in there. It's just a coincidence. And Kit's like,
he said, I thought I was doing the right thing because I thought it would just help David out. We're desperate. usually people get
a part-time job.
Usually people get away with crimes on Coronation Street because the person who's had the crime done to them decides to drop the charges, and I was kind of banking on the fact that might happen to me.
Yeah, I thought that.
What do you reckon, DC Green?
No, the
not
insurance
this time.
company's really mad at you.
He literally, there is no way he can wriggle off this hook, is there?
No, it's not like, they've just heard from them and they actually also white supremacists.
But then you could say that about, say, Lauren. Maybe they're going to overcharge him again because that seems to be the MO for Weatherfield.
Murder. Premeditated murder. They don't have evidence for it, so he gets away.
Yeah, they could, couldn't they?
Honestly,
and then the jury's like, not guilty, didn't murder anybody, so let's let him free. Like, thank you very much.
Thanks, suckers.
Yeah, the Weatherfield police are just made up of a load of bent coppers and overchargers. They seriously, is there like an investigatory body of chief policemen?
What's it called? Line of Duty.
Yeah, who going to march in?
Jesus,
and just
Mary and Joseph and the donkey they rode in on. What have you been doing here?
Honestly. Good
accent, right? Everyone? Yeah. Okay, so back at the flat. Dave's like, I can't believe this. Why would Max do this? It's Lauren's fault.
Well, what did you think of David's reaction here?
He's just like mad.
Is it
whoever.
mad. Sometimes it's a case of characters have to have conflicting opinions on something so that the drama. This is going to be another one, probably. David's going off on one at Shona, isn't he, in tonight's episode?
Yeah.
Is it just again for the drama, and then Monday he's going to come back with his tail between his legs, like, sorry, it probably was a stupid plan to have him run away to Belize, wasn't it? Maybe he just needs to do the time. He's done the crime.
I'm gonna put quite a lot of money on the fact that nobody in that house knows where Belize is on a map.
Do you reckon?
Yes.
Well, we didn't, so
I wouldn't
can't judge. Central America.
I knew it was somewhere in the southern hemisphere. Is it?
You just said Central America.
Yeah, it could be anywhere, couldn't it?
Yeah. I love the idea that after the Platts had the conversation about it and they all seemed very knowledgeable about Belize, all of them separately scribbled themselves away to a different room and then looked it up on the phone, just say, I think the others know where it is, where I better find out for myself. But
it's just off the Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America, you say?
Yeah.
Does it say that on your map?
Yeah, in the UK it says Gulf of Mexico, and then in brackets it says Gulf of America.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know where's the equator.
It's just roundabout there. Right, look, so
it's south of Cuba.
At least David, if Max goes to prison, you can keep a close eye on him and actually visit him and maybe even give him a hug every now and then. Sending him away to Belize, and it's not like let's just send him there for 6 months until it blows over. You're telling him, you're basically saying to your son, I am going to ship you away to somewhere and I will never see you in the flesh again unless I get another win on the old Weatherfield lottery and get a chance to nip over there for a holiday. So nobody wants to see their kid behind bars, do they?
Belize is in the northern hemisphere.
There we go.
So you don't have to worry about...
The water goes round the plug hole the same way as ours.
Through Neptune or something.
What?
You got to do a special ceremony when you cross the equator. You do. Well, if you go on a boat, they force you to do a ceremony. And that would have been awkward because he's on the run.
Yeah, he's clinging onto the side of the hole.
Shut up, I'm trying to escape arson. Right, okay, so she says, Shona says, I don't think it was actually Lauren. I think it might have been me that accidentally convinced him to do this. And then David's like, oh, thanks for ruining my son's life. And storms off. Then so Shona tells Lauren what's happened. And Lauren's like, oh, Max is going to miss all of Frankie's best moments. Like,
he would have missed them anyway.
What kind of moments? Anyway, David comes
back to
the flat.
If Max is going down for this, if Max is disappearing off, there's even less of a reason for Lauren to stay on the street, isn't there?
Lauren.
Seriously.
And Frankie. Sorry, no, I shouldn't say that. I still genuinely
Frankie
believe
can stay.
There's every chance of any character being redeemed. Always. There's always a chance for any character. Even Bobby could turn the corner and become great, because there are definitely loads of characters that started off rough as hell and we didn't like them, and then eventually they're winners over.
Oh yeah.
Not everybody starts off like, iconic.
As Paddy Beaver pointed out to us when we met him that first time, we weren't so complimentary towards his character as we are now.
Everything, all the time. But we're not the the judges, are we?
Oh.
Right, so David comes back to the flat later and they have an argument, and then he gets a text from Harvey going, "Oh, I heard your nipper's going to join us in the clink. Better watch out, pay us money." And then Max goes to the same cell that Leanne was in the other day and then does a sad pose in front of
the camera zooms out.
I think maybe they're recreating the cast photo that they refused to release by just having a collage of everybody in front of that bloody window looking sad.
Yeah, it's like a school photo, isn't it? It's the background.
Yes, it is.
All the
it's
different
exactly
characters
like a school. And you
posing in front of
next
it.
week Shona's going to have all a key ring.
Yeah, not looking so good for Max. Really,
are we done with this story?
What? Oh, that was quite fun talking about it.
It's funny talking about it.
Yeah, I'm gutted that I'm not loving it more.
I enjoyed. I really thought it was hilarious talking about it.
More.
It's just because it's gangster stuff. I just
don't
care.
That's the main thing.
And Harvey,
even if there maybe wasn't the gangster element, I might enjoy it more.
Harvey and what's his face?
Damon.
I don't think
they're friends anymore.
They're just so boring, and they're so ubiquitous as well. It's like the bogeyman of Coronation Street. They're always behind something.
I want to know how Harvey found out that Max was potentially going to prison. No, seriously. How would he know? How would he have a clue?
No, because he's got his tentacles, isn't he?
Yeah, but his tentacles don't
I think there's Ben Coppers.
I do
think it's Ben Coppers.
Oh yeah, we're going back to this, aren't we? We're saying because the only people that could know that Max is potentially going to be sent down are people who work in that police station, or obviously David and Shona and that lot.
Think honestly, this is so irrelevant and boring to talk about, and there's so much other stuff we need to talk about, and look at the time. But imagine just somebody who's been interviewed because they're a criminal or picking up a criminal. That police station has criminals coming in and out all the time. Is it really that interesting that he knows? I don't think so.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of tentacles, onto Kevin's storyline. Or is it...
What the heck?
Or is it, sorry, testicles. So it looks like they're going down there. Let's try and make this a comedy cancer story. Serious, but also still okay to poke fun of it, because they were making some ball jokes this week, weren't they? And... I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be the same level of lightheartedness as Paul, but equally the sadness of it isn't going to reach there as well, because I think he's. I think he's going to be okay.
You know, when you have those like charts and you have like, you know, a 4 chart thing, and you have, you know, I don't know, whatever. But this one's like funny, serious, irrelevant, and relevant.
So you're talking about a Venn diagram? No,
it's not a Venn diagram. It's one of these squares, right? And they've done the irrelevant but serious.
That is
for.
Oh no! There's a Carroll diagram.
Is it?
It's a Carroll diagram.
They've done irrelevant but serious for Toya because she's fine. Now they're doing irrelevant but funny for Thingy, and then so we had relevant and serious. That was Sinead. So now we need relevant but funny. So someone needs to die, but in a really funny way. And then they've completed their diagram, and we can just move on. So
let's talk
any more stories about
grease monkey nuts then. So Kevin on Monday is with Abby talking about plans for the day, what they're going to do. She's got an appointment at the medical centre later or something. She's going to have a chat with Dr. Gadash. She's going to be fine going on her own. And we didn't see a whole lot of this on Monday, to be fair. She gets a home visit from Gadash because why not? And Abby's telling her all about these visions that she's having of Seb. And she's like, oh, I don't even remember what he looked like before he got beaten up.
Where did they do the fire set? Because I'm just wondering whether... Yes, Dr. Gadas's... doctor's office used to be inside Underworld set, so they record some of the interior fire scenes for the Platt's house.
The Platt's house was...
So that's why she had to do a home visit, because she's like, my office got caught on fire.
My office has been displaced.
Don't even ask how that happened.
Yeah,
is that not what is that? At a certain point, I know Dr. Gaddis's the stuff for her office was stored there.
Yeah, because we've seen it. We walked past it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Anyway, Gadash says, look, how long do these episodes last? And Abby's like, well, it's an hour at the moment.
42 minutes.
Hour at the moment, but come next January, it's going to be 30 minutes, 22 at a push.
If you've she's like, do you have ITVX Premium? because it's shorter then.
Yeah, you can get these episodes on demand, Abby, and you don't just have to wait until 8 o'clock.
Yeah, do you know what I really fancy? Is being haunted by my dead son. I'll just tune in.
Anyway, look, Abby says she's having a very serious time, to be fair, when yet again we're being inappropriate. Abby says, look, Seb's just there all the time. It's not as bad as that, but it did make me wonder the scene at the end of the week where she and Kevin decide to go up to the bedroom with their cans of lager, where the Seb was going to be standing at the end of the bed. But anyway, she says, look, it's affecting Kevin, it's affecting Alfie. I'm worried that I might harm them. And Gada says, look, sounds like you got PTSD. Have you been to itv.com/advice? I hear they have an excellent webpage about it.
They said go to see your doctor, Gada. So what's the plan?
Mental health therapist she's going to be getting, so it's all going to be sorted soon. Okay. So Wednesday comes round. She's having a flashback.
This was horrible.
She's being miserable.
It was because we've not actually seen her. She goes catatonic, doesn't she? We've never seen it from someone else's perspective, what she's doing.
She just is totally zoned out,
This was later on, Debbie sees her.
Yeah.
She's just sitting there, not reacting to anything.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting they showed us that side of it.
Yeah, I thought so. It made a nice change.
Run out of ghost money. We can't keep paying Harry Busy only to come in all the time.
No, he's got other things on, hasn't he?
Yeah.
She goes upstairs and Sally comes round to see how Kev's doing, because today's the day that he's going to get his test results from the biopsy or whatever it was. No, it wasn't that. That's a bit extreme. About has he got cancer or not? And she's like, did you know, Kevin, I had cancer once. Yeah. And let me tell you, here's another fact. The actress who plays me had it at the same time. I don't know whether you've heard this story.
Don't worry you. Have you checked?
Yeah, come on, Mike. Have you? Maybe.
Everybody check. If you're listening and you got bits that might get something, you can feel it. You got your boobies or your balls. Have a check. Just have a feel.
Give them a quick squeeze.
Everybody do it now. Just pause us.
No, you can still listen to us.
Well, you can listen while we're doing it, but just concentrate while you're doing it.
So anyway, look,
go to the bathroom.
Sally's
Don't be doing it in front of other people.
resident cancer expert, and she says, I'm coming with you, which I thought was very nice.
That was really nice, a throwback.
It was a proper Kevin and Sally throwback, and there wasn't even any tinge of Abby being jealous by it as well. Or Tim. Or Tim.
Or like a moment where they looked at each other.
They were just, these two characters have known each other for the best part of, 39 years or so.
Been in it with each other.
40 years. And and so I thought it was lovely. And even like Sally holding his hand when they were sitting in the corridor waiting to go in, because Kevin's having a little panic about it. And she's like, you're going to get through this. Get called in. Sally goes with him, and he's got cancer.
And we don't have any money for an effect.
Oh no, I thought that this was very pleasant and refreshing as well. That Kevin got delivered a bad diagnosis without any form of experimental editing. I said to you before, I paused it and I said, right, Gemma, how much are you going to bet me? Is it going to have the... and Kevin's... But they didn't. They just had to deliver the news.
Because then we later had Abby having it, and it would have been just...
Yeah, Abby's got the lion's share.
I'm glad that at least they have their own limit for how many weird effects you can have in one, like how many characters can have it at once. Because if they'd had Kevin and Abby in the same episode having some kind of mental crisis that's portrayed to us through the medium of a sound effect, it would have been a bit much, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway,
did it lose anything by not having it? No. In fact, it was fine, and it just shows you don't need to have sound effects when somebody's getting a diagnosis at the hospital. It's absolutely fine.
And rushes out. He doesn't want to hear anymore. You interrupted me. I'm trying to get you to get through this. Do you not want to eat your load of potatoes?
I would love to eat my load of potatoes and Wagyu burger, thank you. Right. This then has got Debbie coming around to number 13, which everybody on the internet loved, and I did too. She's coming around to spend some time with Abby and do some quality painting with her. But when she gets there, the fire alarm's going, smoke's coming out the oven, Abby's sitting frozen on the sofa, tears streaming down her face, and Debbie's like, come on, love, it's so lovely. Sue Devaney is such a blooming gift. She is such a gem in the crown of Coronation Street. And these little tender scenes that she had with Abby on Wednesday, absolutely cracking. Absolutely loved it, yeah. So they then go on to have this painting sesh, don't they? And I mean, I'm going to say it now. This is going to be in the contenders for Scenes of the Year when we do it on Patreon. I added it to our list because this was just a lovely, joyful, didn't need to be there particularly. Fun scene between two lovely fun women. It was great, wasn't it?
Both women, yeah.
Yes. Why are you saying?
I don't know.
It was a great scene. Did you not adore this scene? Yeah, so they're sitting each other opposite each other on the kitchen table.
I was worried though.
Why?
I was really worried at one point that we weren't going to actually see the pictures.
No, of course.
I was like, don't cop out.
It was framed in a way so that you couldn't see the pictures until they were revealed, and I was waiting for it. And actually, fair play to her. Debbie did a pretty good job of Ronnie, didn't she? I thought that they were painting each other, because I mean, the fact that she can do that from memory, or was she having a look at a picture of Ronnie on his phone?
I wouldn't be able to do one. I wouldn't be able to do a picture of you that looked anything like you.
No, but if somebody were to hold this up and say, "Who's this in Coronation Street?" I think I'd be able to say it's Ronnie. Now, of course, there aren't too many black characters in Coronation Street, and I didn't think it was Ed or Michael. But yeah, I think Debbie's got a bit of a hidden talent there. Actually, maybe it was her that did the redecoration at Chariot Square last year.
What do you think of Abby's picture?
The angry little gnome fella.
I want to know what she was
that needs to get on ITV
for.
Reloved right now. I would pay money for that.
What was she making space for in the rest of the picture?
It's so funny because you see that sometimes, like if if I'm teaching an art lesson at school and the children haven't quite got the idea of how it's going to fit on the page, and I totally saw that. I'm going to start here and I'm sure the rest will fill out. No, all down there in the corner. It was great, and it was also clearly supposed to be Kevin as well, but the beard was wrong. It was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. That needs to go pride of place in the Corrie Prop store now, or stick it in the Coronation Street Experience at least. Take down Alf's portrait. There's a new contender in town.
Take down.
It was
William
so funny, and it was just the fact that they both ended up laughing about it. It was sweet, joyful, and lovely.
Tension breaking.
It was, and it was what the story needed, because we'd also just been having scenes of Kevin and Sally together at number 4. They go back to Sal's house first, and Kevin's saying, "Oh, so what am I going to do? What if it's hereditary?" And they make a few jokes about, Rosie and Sophie aren't going to get it, are they? And then he does a bit of a name drop, doesn't he? His brother Carl gets a shout out. So Carl, for anybody, and I'm going to assume there might be a few people out there, Carl is Kevin's very, 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 very rarely mentioned half brother.
Never been cast.
We have never seen him. We've only heard of him.
In the old days when they were in the show originally, and it was all the same actors still. You had
old Peter Armitage, and we had Sue Devaney and Mike Lavelle.
Yeah, they were all the same characters.
Yes.
Even then, Carl was not in the show.
Well, that's because he hadn't been born yet.
Yeah, all right. He's a younger brother.
Yeah, he's a younger brother.
He's never been in the show.
No, he was born in 1986. So the story with the Websters coming in 83, 84 maybe, and then they hang around the street for about a year. It was like a year because Peter Armitage was like, I wasn't signing up to be a lifer. Although to be fair, he ended up being on and off for about 30 years or so, didn't he? And so they moved down to Southampton.
What happened to the mum? Did she die or did she leave them?
This was a different mum. So I think you put me on the spot here. But yeah,
I just remember Debbie had to be the mum.
Yeah, I think that that Debbie and Kev's mum had died from cancer.
Oh
because
no! Testicular cancer.
No, this got brought up in the episode. Pay attention. Because he's like, my mum had cancer and all. And yeah, so they're just living the three of them. And then Bill finds another lovely wife off screen, moves to Germany with them, and this is where Carl Webster comes. So
right, so he's a young German.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, so will we see Carl? Will he be German? Let's find out. Because
I wonder.
We got the news. We saw that the headlines were there, like baiting a Corrie comeback for Becky. And
what about Carl?
What about Carl?
If I was Carl and I was in Germany right now, okay, and I had the bad news, my brother has got testicular cancer, and also the terrible news that this up and coming young chef Mason was going to come to Germany to teach everybody about how to make food. And now he's dead. I'd come to England, and I spent my whole life in Germany waiting for an English chef to come here to teach us the ways of how to cook things.
I'm going to throw it out there. If Carl Webster ever does appear on the cobbles, I'm going to say he's not going to even have a hint of a German accent. I'm going to say he's going to sound fairly Mancunian. Well, I don't think there's that much opportunity to show off your German skills, is there, in Weatherfield? I don't think it's generally needed.
I would give Coronation Street, so I would give them, I think I'd write a cheque for £50 and I'd send it to them and say, spend it on what you want. If not only do they bring Carl into the show, but they make him German and give him a German accent, I would absolutely adore that. Be so fantastic.
I would also enjoy
and I would love him to just spend the whole time being like, what are you doing? Why are you all so strange? what is this sausage roll that you're eating? I don't understand.
What is this classic Corrie comedy if you don't understand over here?
Why is this beer so warm? I don't get it.
No, I don't
you
think
have no
I
culture.
don't think that's I don't think we're going to have any German visitors anytime soon.
You don't understand what a truffle is. We eat this all the time in Germany.
Right, look, so Kevin goes back and he kind of kills the mood with Debbie and Abby having a lovely painting sesh by revealing that he's got testicular cancer, and Abby, bless her, is very understanding. The fact that he hadn't told her that the appointment was that day.
That could have been a really annoying, protracted argument, couldn't it?
I'm really glad that they dodged that, having Abby going, oh, why didn't you tell me? Is it because you don't trust me? Is it because I'm going nuts? Yes, but yeah, it was lovely, really, really nice. And Debbie's there trying to G him up and saying, I've done the Googling, so you don't have to. You got really good chances. Yeah. And they just basically end up the scene by having a load of testicle jokes and laughing at Kevin's portrait. So it was lovely, nice bit of comedy to diffuse the actually quite horrible,
horrific news. Nobody wants to hear.
Nobody wants to hear this.
Nobody wants to see it on Coronation.
It's horrible, and you know, and yes, Corrie is kind of making light heart of it, but is it raising awareness? I don't know. I don't know, because it's not. Everybody knows that it exists. Gemma hates cancer storylines. I'm really hoping that this is just going to be a quick in and out job, and then they go back to something else, because I thought, what was the point? What's the point of it? Seriously,
drama.
We literally had this story with Toya last year with her ovarian cancer. What's the point? Are we going to have Kevin getting really sick? I don't think so. I really, really, really don't want it. Is Kevin going to die of this? No, he's not.
Maybe
he's not. Is he?
Maybe that he'll just like go, oh, I've had it out now, I'm going to go and stay with Carl. Maybe that's why they brought Carl up, because he's going to go and like stay with Carl, and we won't see him.
Have a bit of R&R.
Say that Michael Val can have a break. Maybe he wants to go to Belize.
I don't know. It's a very odd decision to have this storyline running concurrently with Abby's. But I mean, I suppose it's not.
I kind of
They've
get
both got their
makes
issues,
conflict, doesn't it?
Yeah,
but not really, because
whose drama is more dramatic?
Well, Friday, there's more drama.
There is more drama. Yeah, Jack gets told, doesn't he? He gets the news.
No.
Yeah, we do get a bit of a reaction from Jack, don't we? And they're saying he's going to be fine. Jack goes off to school. He comes back home later. He's over it. He's okay.
What
he's
like.
But you still got both legs, haven't you, Dad? So don't you come crying to me about having a ball off.
One ball, yeah. Well, I mean, would you send him to school? I don't think I would on a Friday.
I'm going to say, even though this news was, say he's going to be fine, everything's going to be okay.
Don't tell him on a Friday morning.
I'd like to think that Jack would react a bit more than he did. I remember the news when I literally remember my mum I'm being told that my mum had cancer, and I was just sobbing. I went into their room and I just cried my little heart out, and Jack was just like, oh, well, he's gonna be okay, isn't he? He's I know he did say, is he gonna die?
Diagnosis was a bit more serious, wasn't it?
I don't know. At the time, I can't remember. But I was probably about Jack's age when I found out about it. Oh well, we all react to things differently, don't we? I just
genuinely think if I was them, I wouldn't have sent him to school. But if I had sent him to school, I might have just rung up and gone, yeah, we just told him some really bad news. So if he's a bit sad,
keep an eye on it, Mrs. Crawshaw, please.
Yeah, what do you think? Would it go down as unauthorised absence? Probably would have done, wouldn't it?
No, I think it'd be fine. Right, anyway, look. So Abby decides that she's going to make Kevin a nice Valentine's meal later. And
she's making chicken Kievs.
She's making chicken Kievs for Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
And later on, Debbie comes into the house, and Abby's all aflap, covered in flour, because she's trying to make these things from scratch rather than just go and Bernard Matthews like the rest of us. And Debbie says, "Leave it to me, love. I'll get you sorted. Did you know I own a hotel with a pretty good chef there?" So she comes home later with all these little foil tins of, what is it that she brought round?
It was some kind of
I'm sure
pasta,
I can rely on
so like
you.
gnocchi or something with truffles.
Yeah.
And then it was a chicken with what sauce was it? It had some sauce with it.
I don't know. But anyway, it's all this fancy grub later, and you didn't say your prediction out loud, but when the inevitable came along and they decided, actually, I don't fancy this sort of food, I'm not really into it, you were like,
what a surprise. It's honestly, it is reverse snobbery, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, we don't like posh food.
No, we like going upstairs.
We like eating...
with a can. And
we like eating kebabs.
A bit of a nookie.
It is possible to like truffles and kebabs. I'm just saying.
I enjoyed these scenes this week.
It was sweet that they both didn't like it. That was the joke.
Yeah.
But it is another like, Coronation Street's got this weird thing about food. Like, you can't cook and it's funny, and you hate posh food because
they're just normal folks like the rest of us, Gemma.
You have to maintain your working class status. Like, there's never been a chef that's come from working class background ever. ever.
Yeah, anyway, as I say, I enjoyed this story. We said it on the spoiler cast a few weeks ago, but when we were at the press day back in November, and we were hearing about some of the things that are happening in 2025, and we were going, oh, okay, yeah, that's good, yeah, clapping along politely and smiling, and some of it going, oh wow, that's really exciting, looking forward to that. This was the one bit of news, wasn't it, that Kate Brooks revealed that I kept a straight face for this news, but partly because I was sitting next to you and I was thinking, oh god, Gemma's going to hate this. She's going to absolutely hate this.
Well, it's not like anyone cares what I think, or that I think anyone should care what I think. Just to be clear, this is my opinion, that no one should care what I think.
Yeah, so we've been waiting for this to come for a while, and I just thought, why have this? Is it going to be necessary?
Maybe they're doing like
cancer series. It's so blimmin' miserable.
What's it called? Immersion therapy, where it's like, look, we're going to do cancer storylines until you just capitulate and it doesn't trigger you anymore. Okay,
well, look,
everyone's got cancer.
How did you find it? Seriously, how did you find the storyline?
I just try not to think about it.
No, but the whole Webster, because the cancer was just a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Was it balanced out in a way that made it more bearable?
It's great.
It's great, says Gemma. Lovely stuff. At least you watched it.
I did watch it.
Yeah, Carla's kidney kerfuffle. Speaking of having things whipped out of you.
Speaking of medical storylines that nobody asked
for. This is medical and police together, this story.
Yeah, this is a double whammy.
Yeah.
Did you like police storylines? No. Did you like medical storylines? Also no. Well, you're going to love this because it's a medical police storyline.
And we got a bit of a rapid development between Mandy, Rob's guard, who was... up there,
Mandy.
She was a bit of a Randy Mandy, wasn't she? Yeah, she was the guard that was taken hostage by Matty a couple of weeks ago. They've moved up a notch, haven't they, in the old romance stakes, which there was none last time we saw them. To now they're snogging each other's faces off. He's a smooth mover, is Rob.
So here's the question: do you think that this romance was kindled because of the hostage situation, or was she in on it?
I don't remember getting the impression that she was that interested in Rob.
Usually, when they let us know, they would have let us know, wouldn't they?
Maybe she was just like really turned on by him bravely leaping to Matty and wrestling the shiv out of his hand and saving his son, and she's like, what a man.
Maybe part of the story will be her realising that he was behind it. If she doesn't know already.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Because she might. I don't know if she knows. I genuinely don't know.
No, they didn't bring it up, did they? But maybe she just likes a bad boy, and that's why she got a job as a prison guard, and she's been biding her time, waiting to take her pick.
She had a job interview. They were like, "What attracts you to the job of lady guard as a man's prison?" She went, "The totty." Sorry, I'd like the challenge. Yeah.
To help them through their rehabilitation. Yeah, well, she's rehabilitating him with a big old snog on Monday morning, isn't she? Yeah, so...
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Go on, what's been going on here then? You tell us the story of this week.
So it becomes apparent that... Is this when it was revealed that they were?
Yeah, because we haven't seen them for a little while.
Right, so we find out on Monday that they're doing it, probably.
And they've got a plan, haven't they?
There's a plan afoot.
Yes.
So then she's like, oh, are you sure you're ready? And he's like, yeah. Then we get Carla having a phone call going, what's that? Is he okay? But they must have known he was allergic. And then she puts the phone down, tells Lisa, Rob's had an allergic reaction to some medication they gave him after the test that he had. And now he's in hospital, so she scurries off to go and see him.
Yeah, because last week the cliffhanger, I suppose, with this story is that Rob thought that he'd be able to get to hospital, but to have his test done, but then it turned out no, actually he's got to stay in the prison. So they've managed to engineer him being given some medication that's got something in that he's allergic to. I still don't really.
This wouldn't work at all.
This wouldn't work in the slightest,
unless.
Or did Mandy slip him some?
There would be a paper trail, right?
Yeah.
Mandy couldn't get away with giving it to him on the slide because there would have been a record of what he was given. And if there was some kind of evidence that he was allergic, she would have had to have destroyed that evidence, and then there would have been a paper trail of that, surely.
Mm.
But we're not going to worry about that.
I think the fact that we only heard of it over the phone was them saying just go with it.
And
just
shut
go
up.
with it, guys. If they did have a good reason and explanation about how it happened, then they maybe needed to communicate.
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Rob's in hospital now, isn't he?
Sometimes I nitpick and sometimes I don't, and it's not. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just sometimes it gets to me and sometimes it doesn't. And this does. I don't care. Just he's in hospital. Although why on earth did they not just put him in hospital for the test?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. They could have just.
Maybe this is to demonstrate the villainy and the reckless nature of their.
Possibly.
Like Bonnie and Clyde of Highfield
Or was it just to have the cliffhanger last week of we got to go to plan B?
Well, this is the thing. Like, it can't just all go smoothly all the time, otherwise there'd be no plot.
No. Yeah. Just a little bump in the road for one episode.
Right. So he's gone to hospital, and Rob wakes up in hospital, and Mandy's there, and she says, "Well done. We can do our nefarious plan." And he's like, "Brilliant." Then Carla bursts in. And she's like, I can't believe they've done this. And the guard says,
Mandy,
I've got to go.
No, she says to Carla, one of the doctors is looking for you.
And she says, oh, well, I'm glad you did die.
She wants to get rid of Carla, doesn't she? Yeah.
And then Rob says, can you please unlock me so I can run away, which is our plan, isn't it? Remember? And then, oh no, Lisa comes along.
So tragic.
So he's like, quickly lay back down again, pretend to be asleep.
Yeah.
So she comes in and immediately.
She's a smart cookie, is our Lisa, isn't she?
She's like, I know what's going on. But this was very, very subtle, wasn't it? This was a bit subtle because.
Yeah, I thought it was.
You didn't know what's going on. But she twigs there's something weird going on. And then Carla comes in and gives Lisa a kiss. And Rob's like, what? What is this?
Yes.
So. There's tension already, but Carla doesn't understand that these three have had this unspoken moment where there was a confrontation where she knows something, they know she knows something.
Yeah, Lisa's twigged that.
And then Carla comes in the middle of it and like reveals this bombshell that she's dating this lady. Mm. And
yeah, and the fact that when Carla says, look, I was looking for this Dr. Peterson, I think it was.
She said you didn't
Nobody
even know.
knows who he is.
And Lisa's like, interesting.
Yeah.
So Lisa goes, they leave, but then Lisa comes back. She goes, oh, I forgot my gloves. She says, listen, I know what's going on. You were trying to escape. You weren't even going to try and donate a kidney. And they're like, no, that didn't make any sense. What do you mean? And she says, right, if you do give the kidney to Carla, then I will get your sentence overturned. And Mandy's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. They've already done that plot with Tracy. They won't do it again.
I was literally thinking that. And maybe this is going to be Rob and Tracy getting together and they can just bond over ridiculous ways of getting out of prison. Yeah.
Being inept.
Yeah.
So Lisa says, my partner's dying. I can do anything. So Lisa and Carla go back home later. Rob's in his cell, gone back. And Lisa's very sceptical about what is going on. She's not said a word to Carla about any of this.
What do you think about Lisa's desperate measures here?
It feels forced by the plot because it feels as though we are being told that there's no other way, but there are plenty of other ways, and Carla is on dialysis. She is sick, but it doesn't feel like the sort of thing where it's not like the doctors have said, "Oh, if she doesn't get a transplant in the next week, she's going to die."
This is a bit like, what I was saying with Max and David earlier. She is taking such a massive risk here. This is career-ending stuff potentially, and I know she's doing it for love, but there were other options, and I think
nobody on Coronation Street is like, there's no other option but the most dramatic thing. Always.
And I think Lisa has, we've seen her, look the other way in the past maybe sometimes, but when she's there up against Kit, who is the official bent copper of Weatherfield, Lisa's supposed to be, the side of justice, the one who does the right thing.
But she's also thrown Betsy under the bus a few times for justice and the.
Yeah, she's the most competent and true cop that they've got on the show, because loose lips Craig.
I wish she had.
I kind of wish that she'd.
Because I do like that dynamic of like the bent cop versus the one that will never. But it does feel it feels like the inevitability of having a religious character on Coronation Street. It's like, oh yeah, you think you believe in God, do you? Well, wait until we write something.
Yeah, you're going to have a crisis of faith storyline. It's waiting in the wings for you.
Just feels like it's happened far too quickly for it to really feel justified for Lisa, because we just have to trust that Coronation Street are saying, oh, all her life she's been completely upfront and done everything by the book.
Absolutely right.
If she'd been in the show for longer than a year as a main character, which she hasn't been yet, and we'd seen her time and time again go, I'm not taking the easy route. I'm not going to do the easy thing. I'm always going to make the correct decision. And then at this very important, stressful moment in my relationship, I'm going to do something utterly shocking and unlike me, and I'm gonna make this terrible choice. It would have been so much more dramatic if there'd been, the weight of evidence behind her to say, this is unlikely.
Yeah, you're right. Because even though I was saying, this isn't like Lisa to do this, really my reaction was more, oh, okay, so Lisa's the sort of cop that could do this then. Yeah.
And I think that, loads of like Swala fans and Lisa fans are gonna totally go with this and say, this is how
love conquers all.
She is definitely not the sort of person who would do this for anything other than the most dramatic of reasons. But the trouble is, it does undermine the character for more casual viewers.
Because and then when this storyline is over,
who don't care about Lisa or Carla or Swala at all will be like, oh, she's just a bent cop as well, like Kit. They all bent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when the storyline's over, she's going to have the.
What's going to happen to her?
The thing is, surely this is going to come out.
She recorded her voice, Lisa.
Yeah.
Why?
Right, come on then. Let's get to this Wednesday.
So Wednesday, they just email her like, oh, do you want a kidney? You got to tell us now.
There's been a cancellation. Classic Corrie cancellation. Usually it happens to weddings or garage appointments. Yeah. But here you got a kidney cancellation.
Would you like a trial period of a kidney? Yes, I would. So, Rob's a match and they can do it tomorrow. So she rushes to the prison, tells Rob about this. He acts like he's nervous, but he's putting a brave face on it. And he says, God calls us up to be kind to one another. I don't know if kindness extends to kidneys, but...
I think the reason for this cancellation was like, oh guys, I hear that EastEnders 40th anniversary is coming up soon. We need to really up the drama with stuff going on here.
Let's give it the big guns.
Yeah. I think that they've just killed off somebody who was on the kidney transplant list and said, sorry, you got to take one for the team.
Sorry, this is for the ITV.
Yeah.
Right, so...
I'm doing it for the ratings.
Carla's worried about this and she says, I'm really scared I'm going to die. Like, this is serious. And so they have a little teary chat and then they talk about family history.
That was nice as well. See, I think Wednesday we gave a banging on the shorts, didn't we? And part of the reason was there were some very wholesome scenes, and I know this was fake wholesomeness from Rob because he's doing this whilst in the back of his head thinking,
I don't care. I don't have any intention of giving you my kidney.
No, exactly. I'm going to do a runner before they get a chance to. Although, to be fair with him, he does go through with it on Friday, and I don't think he really attempted to run away before it. No. but he's doing this for selfish reasons and selfish reasons only. But if you put that to one side, I thought they had a really nice little scene there and a reminisce of their childhood.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, they do. I mean, we never saw them grow up. You know, they were not in the show.
No.
But they talk about, you know, how being rough and stuff.
Yeah, it's nice.
And
it's nice.
Johnny is not Rob's dad.
No.
And I'm just pointing it out.
Oh yeah, fine.
You know, you would have thought that would have come up, but he's not. It's not his dad, so he doesn't care that he drowned in a ditch.
No.
So they have this reminiscing, and then she goes home, and Lisa's there, and she's been reading Rob's interview from when he bumped off Tina. And we think this is because she's like reminding herself of what a villain he is, but actually she's looking for holes in the case.
I like how she promised him that she would be able to get him off his, you know, murder charge, and then she's probably like, okay. God, I really hope there's some evidence I can do because
she's like,
I've made quite a promise here.
She's like,
I've written a check I might not be able to honour.
Rob, before I go, can I just double check that it was Weatherfield Police Department that got you sent down?
Yeah.
Excellent, because we do everything. We just watch
it. That's right.
It's just watched from beginning to end.
Yeah. There's bound to be a hole in it somewhere.
She's like, it's okay.
A thread that I'll be able to unpick.
I'll just get the files out and rub out. We always use pencil because we never know if it's right or not. So I'll just rub some stuff out and write something else in, and you'll be out.
I found it very convenient on Friday when she comes up with the reason. What was it that she says?
We'll talk about it in a minute if you've written it down.
I have written it down. Yes.
So, Carla says, we had a lovely chat. He's okay for the operation. And then Rob calls Lisa and says, just to remind you before the episode ends that we agreed that you would let me off. Now tell me how you're going to do it. So on Friday, Roy comes to visit Carla. She's in the hospital and Lisa's not there yet.
No, he's at the beginning. He comes into...
Okay, whatever. Yeah. They go to the hospital. They go to the cafe, ward. Aren't they go to the ward. Carla's in bed. Ryan's there. Roy's there. But Bobby's there as well. And he's really annoying everybody. And everyone seems quite annoyed at him. And I think I like the way they're leaning into this.
Yeah, Carla was there. Annoying. Was she on her phone or something? And yeah, literally, head in her hand. Like, I don't know what's
when are they going to give me the drugs that knock me out?
Yeah. And he's there asking what's the
largest
herbivore in the world? African elephant, apparently.
Fantastic news.
Yes.
Right, so the doctor comes in and she's like, don't worry, but just having a bit of he's just having a think about the kidney stuff, but it will be fine.
Sure, it'll be fine.
It always happens. There's always some kind of like cliffhanger drama. I thought this was the end of the episode, to be honest with you, but it seems like we're right at the beginning, so it'll be fine. So meanwhile, we see Lisa with Rob and Randy, and she's heard that the detective in charge of the case is going to maybe get investigated for getting convictions under pressure. And
bit like Ben Stew's case.
Yes, exactly. Forced confession. She says, "Look, maybe you say that he or she did that to you, I can get the evidence, manufacture the evidence." And Rob says, "Well, the only way I'm going to go through with his kidney stuff, because once I give the kidney up, you could just change your mind. So I need some dirt on you first. So please record yourself very incriminatingly telling me that you are going to help me get away with murder, literally." And she
does it without even batting an eyelid, does she?
Well, she loves Carla so much.
Carla.
And I think honestly, Lisa now, she's lost her partner. You know, she lost Becky already, and I think she just thinks to herself, I don't care about losing my job. I'd rather lose my job 1,000,000 times than lose another person I love. Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah,
it does make sense.
I know.
I just wish that we'd had a bit longer to establish this couple and
that's a really good point, actually.
Police reputation, because we only have them. This is the thing about a soap. It never feels as convincing when we only have people's word for something, because we get to see everything else. We've seen Max for years and years and years being an idiot, and so when he acts like an idiot, I'm not surprised. You know?
Okay, that makes sense.
But if Max had just joined, you know, in summer last year, and they're like, oh, typical, Max is always being an idiot, you'd have to just trust them on it. You don't need to just trust people, because the show is years long. We can watch this happen in real time. But anyway,
so are you?
She records herself saying this, and he says, if everything works out and I get away with it, I will delete this message. Don't worry about it.
But if it doesn't, and he ends up back in prison,
I think he's going to release it anyway because he's vindictive.
See, I think I would be worried if I was Randy Mandy at this point, because if he releases this, then that's surely going to get her into a lot of trouble. I know she wasn't there on the recording, but
how are you going to explain the fact he was able to do all this stuff? You were supposed to be watching him the whole time. There's never should have been a point where he was alone with anybody to make plots and record people.
Yeah. So are you expecting this to come out? Is this
this is going to come out. I'm sure it will.
I just imagine how smug Kit will be.
Yeah.
He's like, you novice, Swain.
I thought you were going to say you novice.
Because he's been doing all this underhand stuff for years, and he's been getting away with it. I wonder whether he's going to end up. Delighted. I think he's going to get a job. I think he's going to get promoted to sergeant.
Do you think she'll get demoted, or do you think she get fired?
I think you'd probably get fired for trying to help a convicted murderer to escape.
I actually did think I did zone out a bit, and I don't recall what she actually said.
With what?
When she recorded the message.
Oh, all we heard was, I am Lisa Swain. I don't think there was any more of that.
But she could have said it in a certain way that is not going to be as incriminating as I will help you get away with a crime.
Yeah.
She could have said something like, my name is Dear Swain, and I have reason to believe that Rob Donovan was coerced into giving a false confession for the crime of killing Tina McIntyre, and I am going to do everything I can to help overturn this unsafe conviction for the pursuit of justice.
Oh, okay.
She could have said that, and then that's fine. I mean, what's that? That's not incriminating, is it? But that would still be useful for him.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be as useful as her going, I'll do anything, and I'll make stuff up, which is probably what he wanted her to say. The fact we don't know is interesting, but I don't know.
Maybe if it's that, it's more likely that she'll get away with it then.
I mean, it would be really cool if she worded it in such a clever way and he thinks he's got some dirt on her, but actually, if anyone were to listen to it, they'd say, oh no, she said the magic word, which means...
a little police code.
There's some kind of police code that means you're being coerced into doing something.
Okay, well, there we go.
There's still a lot of interesting, what's the word, loosey-goosey stuff that could happen.
Yeah. There's lots of directions that this story could be going.
It is really interesting. This is a really weird, interesting twist to this. I just was not expecting this kidney storyline to turn into blackmail and corruption.
No, but as soon as we saw Rob coming into it, it's like he's going to escape. He's going to escape a hospital, isn't he? It's just taking it a bit longer than I was expecting, maybe.
So Carla gets wheeled away just in time. Lisa turns up to give her a kiss and a hug before she goes. They all sit around waiting, and then the doctor says, "Oh, it was everything's fine." And Bobby's like, "Oh, great, my dad came through in the end." And then Lisa's like, "But he could still be a bastard."
I wonder if they tried the whole thing with Bobby that's like, "Oh, Bobby, can you just nip home and get Carla's toothbrush because we've forgotten it?" And then he goes home, comes back again. Thanks, Bobby. Just forgot. She hasn't got her slippers,
toothpaste.
Actually. Yeah.
You didn't get toothpaste. We thought that was...
Off you go, Bobby.
I thought you would have got that you needed toothpaste and toothbrush. And then he comes back and he says, "All right, here you go. Oh, we need the sock. I
think sadly Roy would have rumbled that because he wouldn't have got what they were doing. He's like, I could go home and get everything. No, Roy.
Honestly, I kind of wish that they made more of... I think it would be funny if Roy's complete social ineptitude was the foil against Bobby's also social ineptitude. Together, the two of them, they're equal powers of annoyance. Because Roy can be super annoying, and so can Bobby.
Roy is lovable.
He needs to use his powers against Bobby to try to shut him down.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to where this is going next week. There has been
funnily enough, when Rob wakes up, he's actually in pain.
Oh yeah.
Which is weird.
But he'll be skipping down
He'll be fine tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mandy's
like, long. They're very good aftercare.
They're going to put you back in prison on Monday. And I know you think that gives you 2 days, but it doesn't, because Monday's next episode.
Monday's actually tomorrow, so we need to... If we want to get you out of this place, we got to do it quick.
And they say, well, Lisa, better come through. And it's bonkers, really, because not only would this never happen in real life, but it would take years to overturn a conviction. But they seem to think that it will happen in time for Monday. And then Mandy gets told she's been called back to the prison, and they're both concerned that she might have been rumbled in some way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Maybe Lisa's done something.
Maybe.
I don't think Lisa's going to go down without a fight. Do you think? I think she's got something up her sleeve.
I would like to think so, because it's, yeah.
It seems too easy for Rob at the moment. It seems like she's been a pushover.
Yeah.
I know she loves Carla, and I know that this relationship is super important, and it's got a massive fan base. But I don't want her to be quite as simple as her just not giving herself any sort of get out clause, or like, I've actually got my own trump card here.
That'd actually be quite good if we think that she's cornered. Yeah. So at some point we think, how on earth is she going to get into this? But she's planned it ahead. I'd like to see that.
I hope so, because I do genuinely think it seems quite reckless. But then that you twist that back and say, well, it just means how much she loves Carla.
Yeah, and that's what makes a soap, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, Lou out back then. So we got a new character this week. Lou, played by Farrell Hegarty. Farrell Hegarty. I think I'm
Farrell Hegarty.
Yes.
It's not Farrell. It's Farrell, isn't it?
Farrell. Yeah, she's not.
She's
Farrell.
Not like a wild woman they found just wandering the Ginnell. Like, we can
give me a Joanne Curry.
She's cheap. We can pay her in donuts.
So I'd never heard of this actress before the casting was announced of this, and this is another thing that came from our press day, didn't it? We were told that Mick and Lou would be characters, and I think they had cast them back then, but they didn't tell us who they were. They hadn't released any
images. I don't know if other people in the press knew before.
Well, it was only a few weeks ago that they were revealed. The images of them were
a couple of weeks before they appeared on screen. We were told who was playing.
Yeah. So Farrell. She's and I've not heard of her, but she's got.
You keep saying that, but
no, but I'm saying she is. She's got a big social media following, hasn't she? She's a comedian. She's done a few other TV gigs, like she was on Brassic earlier this year. Apparently, she's been on Emmerdale. She's actually even been in Coronation Street before as a reporter one Boxing Day. So this isn't the first time on the cobbles, but this is her first big role. Now, what I do not know about the character at the moment is she and Mick like main regulars, or are they just here for this story? Because they have had people living in Maudsley Street before, haven't they? And they've been in the show for a couple of weeks, and that's it. And I think that these two have got a lifespan longer than a couple of weeks, but whether they're actually planning to keep them on long term and then start filling out the Maudsley Street houses, I really don't know.
Kate Brooks is family.
Yeah.
Because every producer kind of, sort of, unwritten rule, I guess, gets to introduce a family.
Yeah.
And if this is Kate Brooks' family, I kind of love it. I think
it's early days.
Promising.
It's early days, but it's looking promising. And we liked the idea when they were talked about on the press day, didn't we? And we kind of said that they were kind of billed as the neighbours from hell, and
wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of them.
Yeah, and obviously as Corrie fans, your mind's going to go to, are these the new Battersbys? And it doesn't feel like they are. There's enough to separate.
There are in a sense that they're neighbours from hell, but we don't know that enough about what that means.
Yeah.
But there's, like I said, when we did the Crow Eliminator this week, listen to it if you haven't already, the Battersbys were very much a moment in time. They were a family that was sort of capturing the culture of the time of like these, Asbo neighbours from hell. And I don't think that is the same kind of person that would be right to be in Coronation Street now. Something tells me they're going to be different. There's going to be something different about them, and they're going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Farrell has described Lou as being irrational, gobby, fiery, and loyal.
And we had that today on Friday's episode when she's talking about, is it Mick?
Yeah, Mick.
And she says, "Oh, he's a nightmare," and then Gemma says, "Oh, he sounds like a nightmare." She's like, "What do you mean he sounds like a nightmare?"
Yeah, that was great. That was a great little line.
Really clever writing, well performed. I think you've showed me some of the actresses social media.
If you don't follow Farrell on Instagram, go and do it, because she's got loads of actually genuinely really brilliant comedy skits on there. She's put a few things on a story this week about, like, there's one saying, "Oh, it's my first day on Curry today," which she's kind of filming as she walks through the gates. But yeah, her scripted comedy skits on Instagram genuinely are brilliant. So take a look at them. And it's very early days, and we could go a couple of weeks down and like Blumenette, Lou and Mick, send them back, not into them at all. But so far,
I'm very happy.
I'm feeling happy, and I'm liking that it is giving Gemma and Chesney something to do that's not moaning about not having any money.
I know, but
it's friendships, isn't it?
And about their involvement in this so far.
Who? Gemma and Ches?
Yeah.
Well, the involvement is that Mick is the silver van.
I think it's
man,
obvious that he's
Well, it's clearly it's because they showed Mick in a silver van today.
I know, but I didn't double check to see with the license plate.
Didn't do your number plate, did you? No. So Kate Brooks has said we want to have more friendships on Coronation Street, and seeing Gemma, she wasn't being gross. She was just being fun. She was being a young, fun woman out with her friends, and I really appreciate it.
She was in awe, wasn't she, of Lou?
Yeah.
She was like, she's hilarious and brilliant. And this is like new and exciting for Gemma because she literally has no friends.
No, nobody on the street has got friends. That's the problem. So she's in a pretty unique group here, to be honest. So it all comes together quite quickly. Let's just kind of run down then what happened. Gemma basically bumps into Lou in the cat corner shop on Wednesday. She's trying to get a discount on a box of nappies for some reason. I can't remember what it was.
Because they're expensive.
Nappies
why would
cost a lot.
Want a discount on anything?
And Gemma says, well, I can use my family discount because she's Bernie's daughter who's going out with Dev who runs the shop, and Ardy's there not having any of it, but anyway, at least she doesn't get a cheap nappies, but at least Lou does walk away with a new friend in Gemma, and Lou kind of says, I recognise you're one of the mums at Bessie Street, aren't you? So Bessie Street's going to go, the kids at Bessie Street could go up to the age of 11, but the fact that Lou was trying to buy nappies says that she's at least some of the kids there are similar age, and
that's good detective work.
Thanks for that. I can't remember what they've said in the publicity about them. I don't think it's particularly spoilers, but I think there's a couple of kids. There's a handful of kids.
Not interested.
What do you mean? I don't get the impression from what we've heard so far that the kids are going to be cast as characters, and here's the latest member of the McAllis family, or however we say it.
Wait a year or so before you commit yourself.
But
I'm just not interested in children characters. That's all.
It feels like we've got enough to be getting on with.
It's just because I think Corrie can only do a couple of good child characters at once. Is all I'm saying.
But
Sorry, we've had about children.
They could be a little Chesney there who was an absolute gem as a kid, but I guess it remains.
It's not something I like. If you said, "Oh, they have a cat," I'd say, "When are they going to have the cat in it? I want to see the cat. What's the cat called? What kind of cat is it? When are they going to have the cat?"
I know.
But because it's a kid, I'm like,
yeah. To be honest, we might not even see them. They might just be talked about but never seen. Like probably most of their house will be. Do you think we're going to have a set?
Be heard? No. Seen but not heard? No.
Yeah.
Not seen and not heard. But you say, are they going to have a set?
Yeah.
I think they'll have a front door and we won't see inside.
A front door? They're going to, I think they'll own, a back door.
Well, we'll have at least one scene where Lou poking her head around the door going, you can't come in.
Oh yeah, I don't know why, but I'm thinking that we're not going to see inside their house.
Not for a while.
Yeah, but then there's also the possibility.
I don't know.
I think when we were talking about it on the spoiler cast last month, we said, is there a possibility that they're eventually going to upgrade, if you like, and move into the street? But the fact that we learned today that they're literally only just about to move into Maudsley Street, that they're not going to be moving anytime soon. If you've moved house...
Oh, come on, it's not real.
If you moved house, you're not going to want to go through that again. So I think that they're probably in Maudsley Street for the time being.
Never mind Abby having PTSD. I got PTSD from moving house.
I know. So anyway, also kind of running alongside this story, because it felt like I might as well put it here, is Dev's departure. He's taking a little break from Corrie at the moment, and the story goes that he's just heard from Ravi. Remember Ravi Desai? Ravi Desai? Got rid of from Coronation Street because he said a few things he shouldn't have done on the train. His Aunt Geeta has fallen down the stairs, or Dev's Aunt Geeta has fallen down the stairs in a bit of a bad way, and Dev needs to get bang over to India to help her out. And Bernie would love to come, but sadly she can't leave Gemma because she's been going through some rough times recently.
Bernie would love India.
Yeah, well, they talk about maybe going one day, and that was another lovely, cosy family moment on Wednesday. Wednesday's episode was great for those. And anyway, Lou comes into the pub, gets chatting with Gemma. And then just starts perving over Ryan, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And this is a really interesting and unusual dynamic to her cat. Maybe it's not that unusual, really. She's clearly is very loyal to Mick, but she sees no problem whatsoever in lusting after this hunky, muscular barman.
I know. But yeah, some people are just like that.
Yeah.
And they don't find that there's no contradiction to
No, because she could say, well, look, I'm not
He's
not going to do anything with him. I'm just saying he's a nice bit of eye candy, especially if he turns with the other side of his face.
No.
But I wonder, like, because we know so little about Mick at the moment because he's only just turned up on Friday and
does Mick have a roving eye?
Yeah, does he have a roving eye? Does he care? Does he know that Lou acts like
I can imagine him not caring, but then also perving after like Daisy, and then Lou gets really offended.
Yeah.
There's just so many fun things they can do with these characters. There's a lot of potential.
I'm looking forward to seeing. So anyway, that goes on and it's all quite fun. Ardy, we find out, gets a trial period of running the shop. And I love the bit where he goes up to the bar and then it kind of dawns on him that he's not getting paid any extra. He's not getting any other perks other than he gets to run the shop. And so poor old Ardy, swindled again. And Lou ends up leaving the Rover saying that Mick's outside, but we don't see him on Wednesday, we see him on Friday. There's just a couple of scenes of Gemma going off to have a coffee with her, and then they end up in the Rovers together, don't they? The plan is that they were going to have a little foursome date for Valentine's Day, and Mick can't turn up. We do see that one scene of him outside the cafe in his silver van.
Yeah.
Too early to have any first impressions on Mick so far.
Mick says, I'm not coming because I've got plans with my mates, and then this is when Lou starts moaning and mithering on about
what an arse he is.
So
the evening in the pub just turns into Lou, Chesney and Gemma. Chesney gets a bit miffed because he's a spare part apparently, and Gemma says, look, we need to try and be friends with these people. I really like Lou. Don't spoil it for me, Chesney. I don't think she says it as many words, but she's like, come on, let me have a friend. They're going to be neighbours. Let's all try. So clearly what's going to happen is Gemma is going to get Chesney to do his best to be friends with them. They'll probably have a drink together in the pub on Monday. They'll walk outside the pub and lo and behold, Mick's silver van, and it all gets revealed then.
No, the reason Mick didn't turn up was because Chesney's seen Mick before because they went to court. Chesney will know what Mick looks like because he had to go to court and give him damages.
Oh,
do you remember?
Yes.
So he would have seen him at court.
Of course, just because we haven't seen him before doesn't mean Chesney hasn't. Yes, so
Chesney will, as soon as Lou introduces Mick to Chesney, he'll go, bloody hell, it's you.
It's you.
And then Mick will be like, where's my £6,000?
Yeah. Has he given that yet?
Well, he must have done, but that's not going to go down very well, is it? And then does Lou know that Mick's got £6,000? Has he been hiding that, and maybe he's got a stash of cash that she doesn't know about, and that could cause drama?
No, she sounds like the sort of wife that is going to be banging on for compo and is going to want to have be reported every step of the way. Maybe he's told her he's only won like 3 or something, possibly. But I think there's going to be clear butting of heads between the two couples once their already established link is revealed to them all. But I'd like to think that they're going to be friends, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they rile up the neighbours. I mean, there's no Percy Sugden these days or Emily Bishop who can get shocked and wound up. There's not even a Curly necessarily that's going to play the foil to them the same way that they did to the Battersbys. But yeah, I hope that they are soon integrated and we get to see scenes with the rest of them.
Who do you think is going to be their enemy?
What, apart from Gemma and Chesney temporarily? I don't know.
Eileen, I can't see suffering fools gladly. I mean, all those people along those street, I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of them. So you've got Kevin and Abby.
They've got more to worry
Dev,
about.
Don't think Dev would get embroiled too much.
But he's going to India, isn't he? He's fine.
Well, I can imagine Ken like being, oh God.
No,
Cassie.
I think he'd be more affronted. Cassie, yeah.
Cassie wouldn't be a good one to get on the wrong side of.
Yeah. This street's not big enough for 2 chavs. Cassie might. I can see them clashing maybe, but not in quite the same way as the Battersbys did. But anyway, it's all looking good. Early days, but hopefully it'll be fine. But sad that we're not going to see much Dev for the moment. But apparently he's only going away for a little bit.
He does seem to do this.
Jimmy has been away before,
in the spring.
And sometimes it's been for other reasons. But this is his 25th year on Coronation Street, and he's decided to just take a little break, come back in the spring, I think if they hadn't mentioned it on the show, we wouldn't have noticed.
Honestly, the way they do this show, you wouldn't.
No.
You don't need alibis. I've said this many times.
Yeah. But, I mean, they've got the wedding coming up later this year, haven't they? So,
I think they're actually going to have a wedding?
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Right, on to the smaller stories this week, Gemma. Everything else here only got about one day's worth. So
it was the funeral.
Mace in a case.
It was a big funeral on Monday.
It wasn't that big, was it?
No,
Yet again,
we didn't
get to see it. They only have the funerals for the big main characters like Paul.
Sally and Tim lament over the sad lost opportunities before they go to church. Betsy's also getting ready and doesn't want her mum to go, but eventually I think Lisa convinces her it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And Abby walks down Victoria Street and she has a few little audio flashbacks.
Yeah, just for the...
She ends up outside Shuttleworth's and we also get to see Yasmin, Tim, Lisa, Betsy, Dylan, Maria, Liam all there. There's a post-funeral party at the speed dial and Yasmin's catering and putting all the food together.
Seems like they've quite possibly closed down the whole of speed dial just for this funeral party in the same way they did the bistro for Sarah's birthday party a couple of weeks ago. Last week.
I wouldn't mind accidentally gate crashing someone's birthday party, but I certainly wouldn't want to be tucking into Manahari when everyone's crying over onion barges in the corner, would you?
No.
So
it's the least Jasmine could do.
Yeah, so she, we get Dylan and Liam and they have this sort of side chat about where they are and what's happened.
Dylan's pretty depressed at the moment. I mean, his court date has got to be coming up soonish, hasn't he? He's, he brought a knife to a fight and somebody was stabbed. So he's got good reason to be down in the dumps. But what makes it worse is that everyone at school is saying, well done, mate, Mason, we're better off without Mason. And he's like, no.
He was a good character in the end.
Yeah.
Is it bad etiquette to go to the funeral of somebody that you kind of got killed? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up Debrett's.
Well, you've got to make up the numbers somehow, haven't you?
Well, I mean, there's onion barges going begging. So even Abby turns up, but she's spaced out at this point.
Yeah, she's like, no,
she hasn't had
bad move.
Appointment.
No.
And Betsy ends up sitting with Dylan for a little bit, and there's a Facebook tribute page that's been set up. Everyone's been horrible on it. And it's very sad, and they feel bad about how Mason never had a chance.
Well, he did lots of really naughty things, didn't he?
Just because Luca Toolin is actually very charismatic and good fun doesn't mean that Mason didn't deserve to be stabbed in an alley by his brother.
Exactly. There's only so much sympathy you can have for him. It felt that this scene was fairly... It happened because it kind of had to happen, and it's kind of
like Kevin.
It's a little reminder that Dylan's struggling a little bit, and that Liam's on his side, but yeah, it kind of just went away after Monday.
I don't know if I was
I'm happy to move on from it.
Dylan or Liam that I would have gone to this. It feels a bit in bad taste because in their own way, they both had a hand in what happened to him. Because Mason felt so guilty about what happened to him and Liam never really forgave him. Really, I mean, he said, "I'll get over it, but I'm never going to forget what you did to me."
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, they went for themselves, didn't they, to get closure?
Yes.
But I just think if this is my funeral, I'm not having any enemies there eating food.
Friends only.
I've got my grudge list on my phone.
Yeah.
When I die, you can check that at the door.
We'll give it to the bouncer, shall we?
Anyone on this list is not coming in.
Gemma has got a very long grudge list.
It seems here that she made deviled eggs once and you didn't eat any, so you can get lost, actually. You're not coming in. Right,
okay. Daisy's storyline, talking about people going off. We had Dev saying goodbye to him. Bethany at last has trundled out of Weatherfield this week.
She's gone.
She's got basically Daniel and Daisy kind of mooning over each other in the cafe at the beginning of Monday's episode.
I thought she'd already gone.
No, she's not. She's just dragging it out. And Daisy kind of gives her a begrudging kind of good luck about her trip to London. Daniel wants to try and make things right between him and Bethany, so he heads over to Red Bank to have a word with her, but Sarah's like, well, she's gone, sorry. I enjoyed the moment where she gives him the card. You remember the thank you card? And it says, thank you for showing me your true colours. That was a
petty
bitchy move. That was a petty bitchy move. That was funny. Because like Daniel, I assume, when I saw the thank you popping out of the envelope, I was like, oh, she's going
to be conciliatory and say some kind of
that was great.
Nonsense.
But anyway, she hadn't really gone. She was just hiding and didn't want to talk to him. But it was all fairly didn't mean anything in the end because she goes a couple of scenes later. that was kind of it.
I mean, this is the sort of thing you expect from a hotshot journalist, isn't it? Some kind of really cleverly worded.
You can tell that was written by a true writer.
A send trend is like, what's in the spring? Sending petty notes to your ex on your way to London.
That's going to be a first article, isn't it?
Yeah, how to get revenge on your ex. Send him a thank you card, but it's actually a bitchy note.
There was a very, very slight reminder about Daniel and Daisy and the paternity thing at the end of the episode as well, because Adam's saying to Daniel, are you interested in Daisy or not? And Daniel's like, no, I just need to find out about this DNA test results. You are going to tell me, aren't you, Daisy, when the results come in?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Of course. How long's it been? Was it been 2 weeks, 3 weeks since she supposedly deleted that email? If I was Daniel, I'd be asking questions now. I'm surprised he's not marching down that hospital and rapping on the door and saying, excuse me, you told us it would only be a week until we got the results. But anyway, he's got clearly other things on his mind at the moment. Cassie and Steve story, Gemma. Do you want to round off the week with a reminder of what happened with those guys?
A Valentine's Day extravaganza, wasn't it?
Yes, I wasn't expecting the storyline to come back today, but I enjoy it. So
well, Cassie's not impressed because Steve and Leanne are sitting surrounded by Valentine's balloons in the pub, and she's still holding a grudge about getting dobbed into the police, and she kind of accepts his apology, but doesn't seem like she's holding a grudge against him anymore.
Yeah, I like she gave it. She grins when he gets up, doesn't she?
Well, she joins them at the bar because it's Cassie, Steve, and Leanne, and then you've got behind the bar is
Glenda was behind the bar today,
and
she did so well with the speed dating night last night. Why not put her front and centre?
Landlady of Love.
Yeah, well, they had all their Valentine's cocktails. Didn't
they did. They did. I took a photo of the menu.
Anyone that you would prefer to go to?
Let me just double check.
I don't know whether they had any mocktails for me there.
No, you would have had to have asked.
You wouldn't have fancied that. Was it lager and blackcurrant? The first one.
Pint of lager with blackcurrant, silk pink. Cupid's Arrow is vodka, orange liqueur, lemon juice, orange juice, and fresh strawberries. French Kiss is Prosecco and raspberry liqueur. Gin Crush is gin, orange liqueur, and orange juice. And Hanky Panky is gin, sweet vermouth, and Fernet Bianca.
So what are you going for? What's your order?
I would like a Cupid's Arrow, actually.
Oh, which one?
Sounds really nice.
Cupid's Arrow and the vodka. Oh, I thought you'd go for the Prosecco and raspberry.
No, boring. I can make that myself. Right, so they are all hanging out at the bar. And Cassie admits to Leanne when Steve goes to the loo that she was a bit jealous, and so Leanne decides to play Cupid, doesn't she? And they soon end up in a booth mooning at each other. And Adam and Alia come in, and Leanne looks annoyed, but I don't remember why.
Well, she's just Mardy because
she's alone.
Yeah, and Steve had made a comment about her being a singleton, and she's getting pretty fed up with it, to be honest.
So Leanne just starts to drown her sorrows and starts to get bitchy and drunk and having a go at everybody, going, "Oh, I'm fed up with everybody telling lies about me in corners. You know, it wasn't me. I made some mistakes, but don't judge me."
Yeah, because she's thinking that people are still suspecting her of starting this fire.
So then Yasmin decides to take pity on her, gets her into a booth and gives her a wonderful, like you said,
classic Yasmin scene. This
pre-Jeff Yasmin.
This was
talking to.
I've never seen a Yasmin scene that was perfectly pre-Jeff Yasmin as this. It was lovely because she was always the wise, kind, grandmotherly, advice-giving person that people would turn to.
Wise and maternal.
And this was exactly it. I absolutely adored this scene. It was perfect. It was there was not a trace of Jeff infected Yasmin here.
And she obviously has this link to Yasmin to Leanne because Leanne dated Cal and they didn't get on that well really because Leanne used to be a prostitute.
Yeah,
and Yasmin didn't
really like that.
But you know, they had that. They after Cal died, they did bond a little bit, and then they grew apart again. And so Yasmin's talking to her like she is her daughter-in-law.
Yeah,
almost.
That was really, really nicely
She's saying,
done.
You've got to let go. I sympathise with what happened to you. Sharif cheated on me as well. Someone very close to me. You've got to
That's Sonia.
You've got to let it go. And Leanne starts to break down, and Yasmin says this really heart-wrenching, Oliver, Cal, and Les will be in her life, but they're in your heart forever, and you've got to start afresh. And so she kind of is galvanized. She leaves the pub, sees Sam.
He's just leaving the pub at night, isn't he?
He's like, we've had
Friday night. He's had a skinful.
Too much of that blackcurrant and beer, whatever that was, bloody brilliant, wasn't it? So he says to her that he's missed her, and the old Leanne must be in there.
Yeah, he says you've changed, but I know that there's still part of you in there.
And she says, I promise I'll sort myself out. And Sam says, I really want to believe that. He's so judgmental for a child. Mind you, children are quite judgmental. Yeah, they're very pure.
They call a spade, do kids.
Yep. Steve and Cassie end the night snogging, really, and then shag, I guess.
Probably do, don't Beautiful. They? There was lots of action going on in those terraces. Kevin and Abby.
Absolutely adorable, lovely.
Who else? Yeah. Don't know. That was fun. I enjoyed talking about that today. But as the week, I think, as I say, last week's fire episode just was a little bit of a letdown because I built it up in my head that it was going to be more, and I enjoyed. It's
like Valentine's Day, isn't it?
Yeah. Bit of a
letdown in the end.
Damp squib, yeah. The Platt story just didn't quite hit the right notes for me. But there was lots of other great stuff. I mean, the painting scene with Abby and Debbie was outstanding. I loved the Sally and Kevin moments. I loved the Yasmin and Leanne moments. That exact thing is just what Coronation Street needs more of, and it was such a treat to have a healthy selection of, in Corrie's terms at the moment, of scenes like that this week. So also, long may it continue.
Like Lou, like that Bethany's gone. Those were good.
still clinging
Bobby's
on
still there.
To comedic drunk Leanne as well.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I was really concerned, like I said before, that there was a moment when Leanne closed the book on being a cow, and I don't want that to happen.
No, I would like her and Toya to reunite, but
I give this week 3.5 spectacular boob prints.
Oh yeah, but that was that Bernie talking about boob prints.
That was what she say it was. I can't remember. It was therapy or something.
Yeah, something like that. I am giving this week's 3.5 pointless bits of material dangling from the neck, which is what Tim was talking about when he was asking why he had to wear a tie to Mason's funeral. I was really disappointed in that. Did I tell you this one? I'd planned to wear my Homer and Marge tie to school today, which is like a romantic, hearty one.
How is it?
But it was a non-uniform day, so I didn't get a chance.
I don't know why you don't just wear your tie to the non-uniform. You might as well just live up to your expectations that people have of you. The only difference is that you don't wear a tie under your jumper.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone notices.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh well.
Well, I told you to wear your red jumper. It's a new jumper that
I have got a lovely new jumper that I'm wearing to say that Gemma bought me with my card. Yeah, you're sensing a trend here, listeners.
My money is my money and your money is our money.
Who is your character of the week? And Gemma.
Yeah, my character of the week.
Are you gonna give it to Lou as an early welcome to Weatherfield? I mean, Debbie was absolutely divine.
Debbie was great, wasn't she?
I'm going between Lou and Debbie.
Yeah.
I mean, Abby was, and even Kevin as well. To be fair,
Kevin was very brave and sensible.
I think that, the as bleak as it may turn out to be, who knows? The Kevin Webster story didn't have an element of crime in it, whereas the other big storylines were all about crime. The Rob one and the fire one, and everything else was just the C tier. So I think that story was my favourite.
What is it about? Is it just because of the logistics that they have to have hospital and police scenes because they just don't have anywhere else to film?
I just don't know.
I hate it.
I'm giving it to Debbie this week. I thought that she was lovely. I thought she was hilarious in the painting scene. I thought that she was brilliantly kind and nice. Warm-hearted to Abby when she found her on the sofa. Abby needed. Yeah, she was super. I'm giving it to Debbie. What about you?
I'll give it to Lou.
Okay.
I just thought she was a breath of fresh air. Yes. I don't know if she really was a breath of fresh air, but I thought she was wonderful. There are lots of characters like her on the show, but it's really fun to see somebody new, and also, is she a regular? I'm not sure, but I hope so, because I can see a lot of potential with that. We always say that, I always say that you want antagonists on the street, and Kit is definitely one, and I think Lou and Mick are going to be
they're going to be riling some people up for sure.
I can also imagine Kit getting annoyed with them too and having a lot to do with them, because I'm sure they often drift on the wrong side of the law.
Yeah, I bet they do. Okay, well, there we go. There's Street Talk done for another week. Hope you enjoyed that.